everybody. I'm super excited tonight. Welcome to the Lost Caravan. It is time for Don't Rest Your Head. I am going to be the GM for tonight. I am Mary. I'm your resident nerd on wheels, and I am so excited to let the nightmares come out to play. As always, we are always sponsored by Soul Muppet Publishing. They've created a bunch of great games, including Orbital Blues. We have a series of it if you want to go check that out on YouTube. It is fantastic. They create a bunch of great games, and it always helps us to go check that out. We also have one shots that are out every month that anyone can apply to. It's a really, really great time and a great way to find TTRPG friends. But as we get into things, I think it's a great start for intros. So, we're going to start out with JD.
Oh no, I knew you were going to call on me first. Hi, I am JD. I can be found on the internet at JD.JasonDean everywhere. I use he, they pronouns. And in this game, I'm playing Acid Rain or just Sid.
Very nice. Uh, Next up, let's go. We're gonna go with Lonnie.
Okay. Hi everyone. I am Lonnie or Looney Shaws. And tonight I am going to be playing Ada Laren.
Nice. And then Mika.
Hi, I'm Mika. I do things. I'm the co-creator of Roll D5. My pronouns are he, him, and today I am playing Jesse Lemons.
Next up, Jim.
Good evening. I'm Jim. I use he, him pronouns. And this evening I'm going to be playing Phil Sweeney.
And Moxie.
Hi, all. I'm Mallory. Some people know me as Moxie on the internet. And tonight I'm playing Ash Davies. And we both use they, she pronouns.
And I am Mary. I use she, her pronouns, and I play everybody else and all the scary things that are lying in the shadows. Um, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. They're watching. It's fine. But as we get into things, we are playing Don't Rest Your Head, a game where, uh, if you ever wondered what it was like to stay up so late that you could see things that no one else could, this game allows you to do that. Our players are playing what are known as the awakened, people that through stress and exhaustion have unlocked a part of their brain to be able to see a world no one else can, uh, otherwise known as the Mad City. There's no real easy way to get there. It more so just shows up when you want it to, or when you least expect it. You could be going down an alleyway, fog rolling in, and then out of the corner of your eye, you see a doorway, slightly hazy, almost seeming like it's barely there. But that's just one easy entrance. You could go through a window that looks like the sky is on the ground and the ground is on the sky. The Mad City morphs in ways that you don't quite expect, but lurking there, you have people that are helpful, people that have made that place their home as time passes differently. Memories become hazy, and well, when night is day and night is day and night is night, the 13 hours that pass there, you don't keep track of it as easily. But today we're going to be finding our players, our awakened, in the sleeping city. Just as known as basically anywhere on Earth. Any city that you would know of. All of our awakened today have been united strangely uh, through a Discord server. A friend of yours, Naomi, kind of created this place because being an awakened in this world is dangerous. One minute You are asleep, having dreams and thinking. When you wake up, they're all gone. It's done, your brain is processing things, but you all know that it's different. The world of dreams is a cotton candy wonderland, when in reality, the dreams are here and they want to hunt you. It's hard to be an awakened, and that's why having friends is helpful. But as of late, people have been going offline, not just going to work, getting home at night, and just forgetting to sign in. No. They've been dark for a long time, even changing what their profile looks like, leaving only one image, a clock tower. About 24 hours before it happens, they make some sort of odd post saying, I'm off on vacation, or I'll see you later. Something out of the ordinary that even the language seems odd. And then their profile picture changes to the clock tower and they are never heard from again. On this night, around 9 p.m., it's dark out. While others are doing their nightly routines, preparing to have a restful sleep, you all are awake. Who do we want to see in on as they are going about their night, as anyone would go about their day? I can either roll if you wish, or if someone wants to volunteer.
Roll. Make us
All
sweat
right.
it out.
Okay. All right. Jim, where do we find Phil?
Phil is how terrible. How bad do I want this to happen? Yeah, I think that we're seeing Phil at an airport. He has it's a thing where he's just gotten off another flight and he's kind of just sort of sitting in the sort of debarkation area. He's kind of sitting and just sort of shaking a bit. He's probably... Do airports still have smoking sections? I forget.
Like
Not
outside,
necessarily
they do.
indoor, but they might have it
Yeah.
outside.
It's like
but
he's
still
just
pretty
kinda-
rare.
Yeah. It's so he's considering going outside for a cigarette. He hasn't done that yet, but he's just sort of like he's just kind of sitting there after getting off a plane. Because he does not. His enjoyment of riding planes is he had never had that much to begin with, and he has none now. And so, but he still has to do it for work. So,
As you
so
kind
he-
of sit
yeah.
there,
he
like,
just got back, but he's just like,
are you waiting for like a connecting flight?
no, I'm just sort of recovering. I think before I'm getting a car to go back home.
I see.
But it's a thing where like I think the company is supposed to have a car here for me to go back home, but I am just not doing it yet because I got to recover from the flight.
Understandable. You see, as you are kind of waiting, have you picked up your luggage yet?
Yeah, it's basically he's got things down to where he just needs the one suitcase at this point. It's usually these trips, I mean, he barely even needs that. He only has that for emergencies. Usually the flights that the company has him take go, there and back in the same day. but he's he has so he's got a small suitcase that he's just picked up, and so he's probably sitting in the baggage claim area, just kind of sort of in the just somewhere wherever the nearest place to sit near there. It's like he hasn't left the airport yet. He's just like just kind of sitting there staring at the wall.
Understandable. You, with your carry-on, you just, there's a nice little coffee shop, that kind of, it's near the baggage claim, a place to grab something before you go. Seems like the, barista there is wiping up some tables, getting ready to close for the evening, or at least take a break for a little while, just finishing up things. You still have those jitters. Just luckily the plane worked fine. Wasn't too rough. There was a little bit of a storm, but nothing too out of the ordinary. But just finding a place. You definitely get the feeling that as you sit, there are people passing by. Different families seem like they are coming back from a vacation. You see other people on their phone, kind of speeding from one place, looking to get to their car. Anything's passing by.
Just staring at them angrily. How dare they be happy?
As you kind of watch, you slowly just paying attention to these happy people. There is a person towards the opposite side of this common area, this waiting area, and they're just kind of standing there. They appear to have a suitcase, look to be a business type, but they're standing rather rigidly, head cocked to the side, smiling at you. And at first, it didn't feel like, didn't give you any weird signs, but they never blinked. And at first, it's hard to tell, is it just because people passed by at the time that it happened? But that's kind of what you're seeing as you're collecting yourself after this flight.
I'm just going to I've been on the chat group and I've heard stories about things and people and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the very
Absolutely.
least. I'm going to presume I've not been to the place before, but I'm just going to lean back just sort of to the barista. Actually, I'm not taking my eyes off the person. I'm just going to gesture to the barista and just sort of be like, hey.
Oh, hi, sugar. Is there anything that you need? We're just closing up, but I have time for a cup of coffee if you need one.
You can just pour me the hottest cup of coffee you possibly can. I would really appreciate it. I shall sign a waiver if necessary.
I don't think that is necessary. There's a warning on the cup holder, but sure. It's getting kind of late. Do you want decaf or just
No. I think that it's almost sacrilegious, don't you think?
Sure. She goes behind the counter, pours the cup. She puts it in a to-go container, puts the sleeve on, and hands it over, gives you the price of the coffee.
And just again, without looking, I haven't looked at her once, but I sort of pull my card out and just sort of hand it over.
Yeah, she takes it, runs it, and just says, "You okay? Everything all right? I know there's a bit of a storm coming."
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we felt some of it on the way through. Maybe.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
it was all right.
you,
It'll
you
be
know, I
okay.
I work here, but those tin cans in the air, they just never
But,
could be too sure.
they tell you statistically it's still the safest way to fly. Fly. uh, because any other way is a little more dangerous. It's supposed to be the safest way to travel. That's what they tell you. And I mean the numbers. You run the numbers in there, and it is. It's it's still pretty safe, relatively speaking, but just sort of depends on, I don't know, whether you're a trouble magnet or not, I guess.
I guess people have bad
Again,
luck.
has not looked at her once. I'm still staring across at the smiling person.
They she hasn't moved yet. She's just standing there, unblinking, and as more people like filter out, like you can tell, like it's been a little bit since your plane landed, and it doesn't seem like there's another one landing for a little while. As people thin out, she absolutely is unblinking, and almost as time passes, the smile just grows. But the barista hands back your card and just says, "You have a good night now. I'm afraid we're gonna be closing up pretty soon, so." But
That's
there's a couple
unusual for
other
an airport.
budget cuts.
You don't have to tell me. All right, now I'll get out of your hair. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it. And at that time, your phone kind of gives a notification. You get a Discord notification, a private message uh, from Naomi, just saying, "Call 15 minutes. Please join the chat."
I'm just going to just again, as best as I can without looking at it. So there's probably typos. I'm just going to kind of be typing on the phone, and I'm pointing the phone in that direction. I'm going to type might be delayed. I'm going to take a picture of the person across from me and send it along with that message.
Almost at the point of taking that picture, whatever interaction that has, a device from the sleeping world, the image kind of distorts into something shadowy. There's a person there, but they're obscured. And as that click, that moment that you hit your thumb against the camera, the button, they're gone.
I even will do this thing where it says I just have toward them. I just sort of am like, to indicate that they should smile, because I think I'm one of those people who thinks they're funny. Sorry, go ahead.
But yes, they as you take the picture, it's almost in that realization that they know that you know that they're there. They disappear. Who would like to go next?
I
Keep
can
rolling
go.
that dice.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Oh, sorry. No, go. I don't mean to be the dictator here. I'll shut up now.
No, if you like the chaos of it.
I do like the chaos of it. I think if it lands on Doc again, you should just redo your entire thing. I don't actually believe that. No, I'm shutting up now.
Jesse, where do we find you this evening?
Oh, hey, that's me. Jesse, I think he's just home. He's at home sitting at his desk, hunched over, click-clacking at a computer. He's got uh, coffee over here, a bunch of sticky notes everywhere. Jesse is an investigative reporter specializing in cults. And so that's what he's doing. He's researching the next cult. He's going to try and like infiltrate.
As like the you now, are you the type that has a Keurig, or do you go with the classic coffee pot? Like how does your character take their coffee?
Classic coffee pot. It's black because he just can't be bothered to buy creamer, and it's not one of those like snobby things. It's more like it's just overwhelming the amount of variety, and so he just doesn't like he the sticky notes all over are all one color. They're that classic yellow color. It's one with classic. He only wears like he buys a pack of those 6-pack Hanes white t-shirts, just the same type of jeans. Yeah, everything's just as simple as possible for his own life because
It's streamlined. You deal with a lot of intense things, so anything that can be at ease is nice. As the
consistency.
yeah, as the coffee begins to percolate and it's getting to a full pot, what cult are you after right now?
This is the Plumfield cult. They're on Plumfield Island off of the coast of North Carolina. They're known for their very secretive, like, rumors of secretive, what's the word, rituals, etc. And there are a few photos online people have managed to sneak of this. But, like, one of those people was never seen again, and so it's like high risk, high reward situation where he's like, I don't sleep anyway. If I get vanished by these people, that's fine.
As you if you go to sit down, the different images up there, there's definitely a image of these different strange symbols, and as you begin to like pick up the cup of coffee, looking down, you see those symbols start to like appear within the coffee. Not the oddest thing. I mean, Awakened has its perks. Sometimes things are illuminated where other things can't be, but it's almost as though like the steam begins to swirl into the air, almost creating these images.
Yeah. I don't remember getting alphabet coffee.
Definitely did not. Almost in like a strange instant, as like the steam disperses, your TV turns on.
I feel like this is a common thing that happens, so I've got the remote next to me, and I press the off button.
Almost in like this strange way, as you hit the off, and as this is something you're used to, there's many different kinds of nightmares out there. Some like to play first, and it seems like at least the one near you at the moment is more interested in how you react to things rather than ready for dinner. Um, but it at first it's just the TV that turns on, and then the lights turn off. And then the burner on the stove turns on. What do you do in these situations? How do you react?
Since I don't have a remote for everything else, I just I hope I can show this on stream. Just middle finger to each new thing. Lights go off. Middle finger up to the light source. The oven thing turns on. Flip off the oven. Not even like really looking away from my computer. I start typing with one hand and just.
As these different things are happening, the stove turns off, turns on, microwave begins, the cupboard opens and closes. You're deep in your research. You find something strange as you're searching for more on the Plumfield cult. Certain information almost seems as though there might be a possible entry into the Mad City there. As you look into things going missing, not always are the cults of the sleeping world have to do with nightmares. People are their own nightmares at times, but oftentimes people that are asleep, those that cannot see nightmares, can end up either being led to the Mad City or wander by accident. It seems like that is what's happening there. Exactly. Has Jesse ever ventured into the Mad City?
Ooh, I'm gonna roll some dice to determine this. Evens yes, odds no. No. It kind of goes, I think, with that simplicity thing. He infiltrates all this other stuff. This is just one thing if he can't write about it, he doesn't care.
In your time in the Discord server, you've heard some people's different stories about the Mad City, but it is a complicated place. There's general areas you can venture to, but none of the streets stay the same. Always morphing, changing, but general areas, District 13, the rooftops, all of those general things stay the same, but it is a windy, twisty place. Easy to get lost in, hard to understand. As you get deeper into your research, though, your computer begins to beep, this time not of a nightmare's choosing, but you get a message notification from Naomi. 15 minutes. Get in the voice chat. Urgent.
Thumbs up emoji.
And as we whisk away from there, who do we find next? I can roll, if you guys wish. All right. Mallory, where do we find you?
You find Ash currently hunched over behind a dumpster, catching their breath for dear life. They feel like they just ran 1,000 miles as fast as they could, and they're sort of like looking around the corner of this hulking metal bin just to see if they see anyone around or if they finally outran everyone.
What are you running from?
some guys that I may have said I wouldn't do their dirty work for them anymore. Not my fault. They're a bunch of idiots trying to move forgeries and they can't even crunch numbers right. My sister got me to work for them, and now that she's gone, I don't really want to do it anymore, but that's not super their speed.
You do hear the footsteps, not very close to you yet, but you hear bits of conversation. One of the people, probably the worst at forgery, Ben, very pompous, hired you on and still didn't want to do the proper thing because it was difficult. And now, of course, you're going to be blamed for his shoddy work. You just begin to hear just, where are you? Just like these different shouts trying to get your attention, trying to almost like locate you through sound, even though Ben isn't a bat. Echolocation isn't going to work necessarily for him, but there's not enough brain cells to make that make sense. So instead, he's just going to make a racket.
Yeah, he doesn't have the two to rub together, so I sit and I wait. I slow my breathing down enough, knowing that even if he does have like one other person with him, Ben's the easiest one to outsmart, so I'm not that screwed. But he'll walk past it because he never checks.
Yeah.
He wouldn't want to touch something that could have dirt on it.
Too fancy of clothes for that. You hear as the footsteps pass the alleyway, just clomping down on the puddles on the ground. And you hear them go past until they get partially to the middle of the next building, and then you hear a scream. Sound of someone falling.
I'll take a look around the corner. Just kind of poke my head out and see, because if Ben fell and that was his scream, no way in hell am I leaving this dumpster. I don't care if he hurt himself. For someone else, though, I would properly give a shit.
As you kind of peek around the corner, you see a shoe on the ground. It looks very similar to the ones that Ben was wearing.
I'll go out. I'll check it out. Don't see him, then maybe he fell in like a gaping chasm in the earth or something. Good riddance.
Yeah. You gingerly step out, just kind of checking, making sure it's not a trap. As you get closer, you see that there is a entryway to the sewer. Usually there is a cover on there. You don't want people just to walk across and fall. But there isn't. In fact, it almost looks as though maybe it was cracked, maybe part of it was damaged, but whatever was supposed to be blocking it looks strange to you. Instead of it being like more solid, it almost looks wavy. And the sewer writing, all the letters are backwards.
Interesting. I'm gonna see if like I can move it, or if I would just like my hand would just go through it, because part of me is so tempted to go through and the other part of me is like, no, Ben just got there.
As you kind of crouch to reach your hand down, it's almost like there's like whispers around you, like almost like calling the closer you get. And before your hand can totally, like just millimeters before it would touch that strange cover, your phone beeps.
I'll check it.
You have a message from Naomi. 15 minutes. Get in the voice chat. It's urgent.
I look at the sewer cover one more time, and then we'll type back, saved by the beep. See you in 15. And I will walk away and head towards home. And it's not my problem anymore.
Two of you left. Who's next?
Do we want to rock, paper, scissors it, Lonnie?
Sure.
All right.
Rock,
Paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay, this is going well.
Rock,
paper, scissors,
shoot.
What are you, I couldn't see what you were. Oh no. Okay,
Yep.
I guess that's
All right. So where'd we find Ada?
She is at a local dive bar that's probably within like a block or two of her apartment. She is kind of seen as like a regular at this point, but no one really knows that much about her because she's usually just like takes her 1 pint of beer and goes to kind of like one of the lone booths. She's not really sitting at the bar, and she usually puts her headphones in, and she is monitoring the police scanner of like 2 counties away or so. It's kind of her normal thing to do. She's there until closing, but they know that they don't have to worry about kicking her out because she'll see it's like 5 minutes before closing. She'll always make sure she's not the last person left. They know they don't have to really come get her, but they also know that she's probably not gonna acknowledge them if they try to come up and talk to her.
Would you have like a booth that is like your booth that no one really goes to, that it's your corner?
I'd say so, because at this dive bar probably isn't that busy like all the way until closing. So even if somebody is sitting there, like when she first gets in, by the time she like as soon as she sees somebody is gone, she'll go take it if it is taken, but it doesn't happen a lot.
You go to your booth, as you're kind of sitting there listening to the police scanners, a frosty pint in front of you. It's been a slow night. Luckily there is no full moon, so hopefully nothing too crazy, but it is storming and nothing ever good happens during a storm. As you kind of like go through listening, waiting, biding your time, seeing the clock tick by, it almost sounds like this scanner like almost like shifts, meaning like it's almost like it's searching for like a channel to listen to by itself.
She's just like kind of listening to it on her phone. Like she found a website that kind of like helps her tune
Nice.
into a channel. So she's not gonna sit there and like try to fiddle with the button or anything like that, but she's gonna like unlock her phone, kind of like refresh the page, kind of like look at her bars on her phone and see if, I don't know, maybe the storm, like that's the favorite go-to, like, oh, it's storming, like of course my cell phone quality's not that great.
As you check, you have full service, surprisingly. there hasn't been too much thunder or lightning yet, but you can definitely feel it beginning to pour in. But as you're kind of checking things, the static begins to start, and then you hear a soft voice just say, "Hello."
Her leg starts like she starts like bouncing her leg, and she kind of like waits for a second, like she's waiting to see if it'll happen again to like make sure she heard it right or something. But after a second, I think she'll say, like very hushed, "Hi."
Oh my God! Thank God! Please, please, I can't find the way out. I need help. I thank God this reached someone. I didn't know if it would work. Please, please, please answer.
She kind of like takes out one of her earbuds and like is looking around to see if something's happening in the bar, and puts it back in. Who are you? Where are you calling from? Where did you hack this from? How did you get onto this channel?
I just tried to. There's a strange radio in the room, and I hoped that it would work, and I just wanted to talk to someone, and it did, and I'm stuck, and they will come. It's a break, but they are hungry and they are coming, and I don't know what to do, and please just whatever
Okay,
you
can
do.
I?
And it gets hazy for a minute. The static kind of picks up.
Who? Hello? Who's they? Where are you? Do I need to call the cops for you? I need to know where you are.
They can't get here. It's not. You wouldn't want them here anyway. They're worse. Just
Can can I help? Where are you? How can I? What do you need? Who's they?
it, it's the crooked man. The crooked man is coming. I gotta go. I gotta go. And then you hear these static and these screams that begin to pick up, and then you just again hear back to the police scanner. Just going through the different things going on throughout the night. Just a normal traffic stop.
Yeah,
Someone
I
ran
think
a red light and was speeding too much, and now they're gonna have to go after idle chit chat.
I think for the first night in a very long time, she like actually just takes out her earbuds and just sits in silence for a few minutes. Kind of will like eyes will fleet around to see if anyone's looking at her, because she just was like very clearly having a conversation with nobody in the bar, looking outside, looking up the crooked man if she can, but if the well, I guess no, she'd try to search the crooked man, but her headphones would be out. She's not used to hearing the actual victim. She's just used to hearing about them. So that was a little jarring to her.
You begin to search the crooked man. Your phone for a moment glitches, and you see it almost as the phone goes dark. It's almost a slow effect, almost like an LED that has been on too long. But you see an outline. It appears to be a very tall person in a top hat. Their body twisted and contorted in a way, shoulder up higher than the other, arm a little bit longer than the other, with a cane. And the only feature that you can see that isn't a silhouette are dark red piercing eyes.
She locks her phone and just pushes it across the table away from her. Grabs the pint and she doesn't take a drink of it, but she kind of just like holds it like halfway, just like idly like in front of her face, and is just staring like at nothing, kind of like next to her phone but not at her phone, not like particularly at the table, just in the direction of the table.
As you just like shove it away, you pick up the pint, you take a minute to breathe. The good thing is that at least in a dive bar, everyone is trying to keep to themselves at the moment.
That's why she likes it.
You hear the new song begins to play in the background, and your phone lights up. It says a new Discord message.
I think she does the thing that like you do when you're trying to read a book and you know you're coming to the end of the chapter and you know like, okay, it seems like there's like something big coming, but you don't want to ruin it, so you like try to like cover the bottom of the page so you're like not accidentally seeing like what the end of the chapter is, because you know it's going to be something juicy, but then you like accidentally like flit and see like 2 words and you're like, crap. But she's kind of gonna do that with her phone, where like she's not trying to look, but after a while she will just like accidentally just like look over just enough to like probably see who it is and like a word or 2.
As you kind of wearily pick up the phone again, it is a message from Naomi. Voice call, 15 minutes. Did you hear her too?
She takes a big swig of her beer, throws her phone in her bag, just like headphones a mess, puts the rest of the unfinished beer on the bar, says fuck, and just walks out of the bar to go back to her apartment.
Where do we find Sid?
We find Sid sitting in the study room of a university that he does not go to. He talked himself in, flirted his way in, claimed he had forgotten his card back at home, lived off campus, couldn't possibly go back to get it. And he is sitting there at the desk, a backpack sitting beside him, because he has not been back to his apartment in several days. And he has his computer, his laptop out in front of him, and is looking at a variety of message boards. He pauses on a few different threads, ones that keep referencing someone named CK. People saying, has anyone heard from them? They've been quiet a while. Some people saying they come back, I wouldn't talk to them. Heard they got nabbed. And he clicks through, just getting the lay of the land there, just seeing what the latest rumors are. And this isn't normal for him. He is someone who is usually doing a lot of different things on his computer at one time. But not tonight. Tonight, he's just clicking through again and again, refreshing, and there is a nervous, restless energy building. He doesn't want to draw attention to himself right now. But God, it has been days since he's been able to get into what he loves to do.
As you're sifting through these different message boards, your computer kind of gives a little ding, one that you're familiar with hearing, but not necessarily what you would be excited to hear at the moment. You've gotten a message about a new job.
Gotta pay the bill somehow. He's gonna click into that message.
Most people want to remain anonymous for these different asks. It is a string of different numbers and letters. Usually a way that the program is able to connect a client with someone able to do what they need. You're given a few sets of different documents and are asked to make this person disappear.
Happy to help.
They specifically ask, before giving like anything that would necessarily give you their identity right away of the person that they want, kind of give parameters. They don't want any footprint left behind. Preferably to give some sort of a digital record as far as where the person might have gone after they go dark. To get rid of any kind of financial information, having all of the old records of place of living gone, as well as hacking the bank account and moving it to another.
Sid looks at that and thinks those are all pretty reasonable requests. He doesn't need to know the details. He does need to know the price tag attached.
For this, $100,000.
It is a pleasure to do business for this person.
As you agree, you're sent the info. And there is almost a chill that runs through you. You know her. Maybe not in person. You know that image. That's Naomi.
I don't know if Sid initially thinks anything of that. There are so many reasons to need to disappear. And so if that's what Naomi needs, it's weird that this job ended up with him, but there are weirder things, and he's good at what he does.
Less of a paper trail to go through anonymous sources. It's an easy one. She's got some password protection on there, but it's nothing that you can't handle. It's pretty quick, actually. Works out pretty nice. As you're working in this study room, kind of out of the corner of your eye, you're getting things deleted, like one by one, going through, making sure that it is hard to be able to catch should anyone try and investigate this. One of the study rooms, across the hallway, you can kind of see where the lights are on. There's enough privacy where no one can really see in. It's kind of shaded walls, but you can at least see if a light is on or a light is off. If there isn't a reservation on the room, it usually shows that a room is open. Across the hall, one of the room's lights go off. but there's no motion in the hallway.
That catches Sid's attention. He kind of automatically glances up like you do when there's a change in the environment, goes right back to looking at his computer screen, and then slowly looks up again when he realizes he didn't see anyone leave.
As you glance again, you see that another room, a little bit closer, one room over from the one originally that went off, the lights go off. No motion in the hallway. No one walking out. Still no one walking out of the dark room that was originally there.
In Sid's mind, he's hoping that these are just motion activated lights, and maybe he missed the people leaving. Maybe it is the library starting to close down. He doesn't like that it's happened twice, but there's probably a reasonable and rational explanation for this.
And that's when the third room goes off. There's only 5 rooms in this hallway. It's smaller. They've got a bunch of other different, like almost on the different sides of the floors. But at least on this floor, there's only 5 rooms, and the third one goes off. No motion, no one exiting the first 2. But the shadows are growing.
And Sid is still working, and he's not about to stop. But at the third light going off, well, he doesn't stop the work and his eyes go strictly back to his computer. He does just ask, "What, you fucking with me?"
You outside the window, you see a lightning strike, just illuminating the outside. And you see a figure kind of floating, almost like the fog and the rain and that lightning kind of illuminate the background. There's no real features. It just almost looks like smoke, but it's watching you.
Sid shudders a bit, but keeps working and just says out loud to whatever might be listening, "Some of us have to work for our living. You can put me in complete darkness, I'm not going to stop. You want to fuck around, let's fuck around."
As the lights slowly go off one by one down the hallway, you're able to finish your job. It is, again, it's not difficult. You've definitely done harder things. This is a very simple, at least, with your skill. And as you are finishing up, and you see the numbers in your bank account rise, you get a message. Message from Naomi. Voice call 15 minutes. Be careful.
Sid takes a moment, looks at that message, but Naomi's business is her business, and he's not going to make any assumptions about exactly what's going on, so he just responds with the letter K and that is it.
Relatable.
As you all in your situations get to where you need to do, responding to message however you see fit. But as Sid walks away out of there, whatever he plans on doing, there's almost like a shadowy hand that follows as like the camera kind of goes towards that window. Do you guys heed Naomi's message? What do you do?
I left the bar to make sure that I could be in my apartment before the 15 minutes hits, so I could be there. But I don't respond because I'm still not only trying to understand what I just heard, but also the fact that she apparently heard it too.
You hurry home to the apartment and get set up. You're able to get there in time. Short walk. Turn on the computer. The server is live and active, but as you kind of scroll through the different names, seeing who's online, almost more and more as the weeks have gone on, there are more clock towers.
I think she scrolls through them slowly enough to read each name as she's getting to where the voice chat is going to be starting any minute.
You all see at that 15-minute point, Naomi in what looks to be not necessarily in a public voice chat, but she sends almost in a private group a direct call to all of you through Discord. Voice call. And actually, it's a little bit more odd than that. Normally, you guys communicate only through voice. There's an anonymity in this server, but actually this time you see that she is on video.
Must really be serious.
I just want to mention, I'm going to answer it, but I am by this point driving home in a company car, so never do this. If you're watching at home, never do this. do not answer voice calls, especially with video like this while you are driving. So it's like driving through town. He's like, oh, no. Go ahead and answer.
You've got it like set up in like a cup holder or something, so it's like you can kind of scan at it. You can more so hear it. Naomi did understand that you are driving at this point and to only do what you could do. But yes, do you all join the video call?
Not with video, but yes.
Yeah.
Sid takes the call from the parked car in the library parking lot.
Absolutely. You see Naomi. She has dark black hair, definitely has a alternative like goth aesthetic. But you see that she appears to be like sitting with her laptop you could swear that you see behind her are different clothes or coats or things. As she's sitting down, and she just goes, "Hey guys, long time. that we've talked, or not really that long. I've talked to you guys, or whatever. It's fine. I just want to make sure you guys were okay.
Define okay.
That's a, and you see her. She has a water bottle with her. She takes a swig out of. Yeah, I don't think there's such a thing as okay at this point. Um, and she seems to be peering past her computer at something, like giving you guys attention, but not.
Does she have like headphones on, earbuds in, or anything?
Yeah, she has a set of earbuds in.
Because I see that, I'm gonna make sure I ask, like, because she's looking over her laptop a lot, like she's distracted. I'm gonna wait for a pause and say, "Is there someone there with you?"
Uh, uh I there shouldn't be. Just there's been some oddities happening. I just got a weird feeling, and so I've been trying to check in on people in the server and make sure people are okay.
Was it the voice? The girl's voice?
Yeah. I was listening to the radio, and then that happened. I just wanted to make sure that it it was familiar. I can't place it exactly.
You knew the voice?
Yeah, it was her, her name's Jessica. I recently was searching to see. I keep an eye out if there are any newly awakened here, and well, I saw her running from her own shadow, and that kind of clued me in. But she didn't respond for the last 3 days. She was wary to join the server in her experience. It was scared. She was really scared.
At this point, I don't even know if being in the server would have helped or hurt in her situation, at least. How did you meet her? How did you realize that? How did you track her down?
We have different people kind of set up around the city, and one of them told me that they had saw some nightmares around the apartment complex on Maple, and so I just kind of. Okay, I don't want to sound like a creeper, but there's a coffee shop outside, and so I kind of stationed myself there for a little while. But I just want to make sure she was fine. Maybe that was the problem. I I I just was worried, like people are going missing here a lot, and I couldn't stop them, but maybe I could stop it from her if I was around for it, you know?
Are we sure they're going missing?
I don't know. And she just kind of like runs her hands through her hair. I don't know if they're going missing, but I'm not the best at tech, but even I can see that the things that they usually are on, they just logged off, and then I'm an emergency contact for Jared, and his work called me the other day. Yeah, what is it?
Above table. My exhaustion ability is investigation. Like, can I make a roll or something to see if I can maybe I already have like a list prepared of people and like, oh, they are missing if they are missing, or oh, they're not?
Absolutely. We can do the first roll of the night.
Yes.
All right, so as far as Don't Rest Your Head works, it is a dice pool system. We use D6s, and it's a little bit of a process. First, we had to form our dice pool, so you always have 3 discipline dice. This is basically your skill. Then, all of our players are fresh as far as it comes to exhaustion, so they don't have any exhaustion to add at this point, unless they choose to become tired and get 1 dice added to the exhaustion. Would you like to add exhaustion?
Yes.
All right, so then you have 1 in your exhaustion
Exhaustion.
pool.
Oh, well, marked the wrong thing. Hold on. No, I don't want to. Cool. Well, I'll remember to fix that later. Okay, adding lemon dice, exhaustion. Okay.
All right, and then would you like to add any madness dice for this? You can have between 1 and 6. These are temporary, while exhaustion is permanent. Unfortunately, Red Bull does not get rid of exhaustion in this world. It just makes it less noticeable.
Okay. Okay, so the madness is. I'll do. I'm gonna regret this, aren't I? You know what? 2 madness.
All right. This is fairly simple. So I'm going to have 3 pain dice that I'm rolling against you. So let's see what we get.
So the lower the better.
Yep, you want mostly lower 1, 2, and 3 are successes. And the high number details what dominates this moment.
Okay. So I have 4 successes. The highest dice I have is a 6, and that's on my discipline.
Nice. The highest dice I have is a 5. I only have I have 2 1s, so you are very successful in this, and discipline dominates, which means there are no negative spins to this, which means you can kind of take some control over what you would like to find. So as you're kind of searching through your data, you ask me the questions you would like to find out, and I will answer truthfully.
All right. Are all these people actually missing from their lives?
From what you've seen, there have been a few trolls that have tried to do the clock tower thing, but eventually they get in trouble and are kicked out of the server. The ones that still remain in the server, however, all of them from your research, there are currently, it's like a server of 20 people. 5 of them are gone. 5 people are missing. You've checked into their different work daily routine, and they have not shown up for work. You also have seen that there are missing person reports filed. All of them kind of had a vague reason for being gone, but that reason turned into something not as explained. So if someone was going for vacation, they had 3 days of vacation. That 4th day, when they didn't show up, questions were asked.
Okay. All right, so I guess that's my question. Yeah, so I imagine I've got their IRL names, all that jazz. For the temporary madness, do I keep those dice in my pool?
Temporary madness, you do not keep. They just
Okay.
go away, but you will now always have to roll 1 exhaustion die.
Okay, current exhaustion. Cool. All right, so yeah, I inform everyone. No, they're definitely missing. I've been doing some research. Don't ask, because I'm not going to tell. But yeah, they're gone.
Sometimes
Great.
people want to disappear.
I do it all the time. It's not all that it's cracked up to be.
How long has he been missing?
The first person to go missing, their name's Cecilia. Cecilia Rogers. They went missing about 2 months ago. And then it has been like one person slowly becoming more frequent.
Okay. Now, anybody who hasn't been seen in like the last if it's been more than like 2 or 3 days, then they're not likely to turn up again. That's if they're just ordinarily missing, but I assume you mean they're not ordinarily missing, and this is special missing, yeah?
Yeah. They've none of them are on vacation. They're just gone.
Do we have any idea if any of them are dead?
Yeah, would I have found that information?
To your knowledge, there has been none of the missing cases have turned into a like any foul play yet. There have been no bodies in the morgue. It is just they were living their life and then just disappeared, like poof, gone. One of the people, David, actually was on the phone with someone and then just stopped mid-sentence. David went missing about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I keep forgetting that we're not all in the same room with each other because I was about to say I looked directly into someone's eyes and I was just like, nope, I do not. Definitely do not. We're on Discord.
Directly at someone's eyes.
Yeah. You can't tell though, because what if you're in a different place in the lineup for somebody else?
I stare into the camera.
I do look at for it's not as dramatic anymore, but I do look at Jesse's. Did Jesse have his video on?
I was thinking about that he has his video on. He's wearing a mask and his background is set to look like he's on a llama farm.
Okay.
Because that's his disguise. He tells you all, yeah, I live on a llama farm in Peru or southern Utah. In southern Utah. I know those are two very different places, but I think the location keeps on changing. Like when it's like Peru, southern Utah, Canada.
You got llamas
Greenland.
photoshopped onto the salt flats.
Yes, yeah. One time he said it was in just outside of Shanghai, just everywhere.
You travel to so many llama farms. It's incredible.
It's true. I'm actually an inspector for different llama farms. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, today I'm in southern Utah. So you can see it by the salt flats.
You just go through that Animaniac song, just down the list,
Yes.
cross off the next one to the next
Yes.
line.
So I've definitely, ironically, named some of the countries that don't exist anymore from that song. Yeah.
Well, you're wearing a mask and have llamas in your background, but I'll like look at your camera for a second, and because you're already kind of like answering a lot of the questions, like you've already done research on it, I'll ask if you've ever heard of the Crooked Man.
Ooh, would I know the Crooked Man? I know the Hat Man.
The Crooked Man, you've heard of legends of the Crooked Man.
Okay.
Sort of like a folklore. The Crooked Man, at least in the stories that you've heard, often shows up when your time is up. So the Crooked Man comes as the clock strikes 12. That's usually how the rhyme would go. And there are a bunch of different stories. Sometimes the Crooked Man is stealing someone away. Sometimes
Mhm.
once you see the Crooked Man, similar to like the different Banshee myths or the washerwoman myths, that is when the person will have their untimely demise.
Um, can I make a... Because the way you described the Crooked Man earlier sounds like the Hat Man, the shadow creature that's Jesse's sleep paralysis demon.
Very
So
similar.
could it be that was the Crooked Man that's actually Jesse's sleep paralysis demon?
Absolutely.
Would that be okay story-wise?
Fantastic.
Okay.
Absolutely. It would make sense.
Awesome. Then yeah, I say yeah, I'm familiar. See him once a week.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. And you can't tell if he's being serious or not. So there's the same cadence he uses when he's like, yeah, I'm outside of the Toronto llama farm. You know, just same. Yeah. Yeah, I see him once a week. Or really whenever I wake up.
I think she still continues on, like, very seriously questioning you because she wants to see if you're actually being serious this time. So she sits there and very, like, flat face just says, how have you escaped him so many times then?
I wouldn't say so many. I don't really wake up that often. He stares. He comes closer, then I'm able to move. Doesn't like that. Goes away. Gets closer each time.
You're on the brink of something, and I don't know if it's death or insanity.
I'd say I'm on the brink like that Disney Channel original movie. I'm getting really good at roller skating. You're welcome.
So I think I do have my camera on, but I think I'm in like a very I don't think I really bothered to turn on a lot of the lights in my apartment. So I think you don't really like see my facial expressions too much, but I feel like you do kind of just see me like I'm like holding my phone doing the video, so I kind of just like shift and I kind of just like it's kind of just like that finality of just like readjusting and kind of changing focus, I guess.
Yeah.
But you can't really like see how I'm just, you know, you see movement. And if you could see your face, it's very confused.
Okay.
As you guys are chatting, you see Naomi more so is like looking behind, and almost like background noise. You hear like what sounds like a crash.
What kind of crash does this sound like? Because I am somewhat familiar with that.
It's the sound of glass breaking.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit.
And she just, you see her kind of glance over, and she just says, one second, there's a giant tree and it's storming like crazy. I swear to God, the landlord better pay for this. And she kind of takes her earbuds out, stands up, leaving the computer in this closet. You hear her walk out, and she just you hear like a string of cuss words as she just says, "Oh, there's glass everywhere!" Like, and you just hear that. But there begins to be some static coming through the speakers.
It's not good.
It's not good at all. Hey, hey, GM.
Mhm.
I have her last address in my mind, don't I?
You absolutely do.
Sid's gonna drop out of the call to call local law enforcement and ask them to check in on her.
As you call for the wellness check, everyone else sees Sid drop the call. You hear her like, you hear cabinets like being slammed shut in frustration. And then you hear, who's there? And then you hear running, like fast footfalls. She's not wearing shoes, and she's running on the wood floor. And she kind of like dives into frame on the laptop, like slamming whatever door is shut.
Yeah, Mia, what's going on?
Someone's in the house. Someone's, I can't talk very loud. Someone is in the house.
Can I use my exhaustion power to find her a way out?
Absolutely. So you're going to need, you get your 3 discipline dice.
Cool.
You do, if you're going to use your exhaustion power, you do need an exhaustion dice to do so.
That is fine. All right. Just
And if
for
you
the
wanna
record,
add-
my discipline dice are Golden Girls dice. I just
Oh,
think that's
yeah.
fun.
Ooh, okay. Hello.
Did you want to add any madness to this roll?
Yeah, I'll add one. Why not? Yeah, I'll add one. I'll stick to one. That's 5 dice.
This is going to be a little bit harder of a check because she's in a closet. So I'm going to roll 5 for this.
We're equal. That's fine. Oh, sweet.
How many successes did you get? And did you get one in your exhaustion?
I got 4. And no.
Okay. So your exhaustion power couldn't go off, but you could try and think of a way. Not with that uncanny ability, but I'll say this is a one shot. But I guess the second question is where do you have your highest die and what is it in?
My highest die is in my exhaustion. 5.
That meets mine. You have no other dice in exhaustion. You have just one. I have another 5. And I have 4 more dice. So, Pain is going to win out on this. You are able to come up with a idea and as you are, what route would you think of to try and escape in this moment to tell Naomi?
Would probably go with if she's in a similar like living situation that I'm in, the fire escape. So I'd tell her stay low as she gets out of the closet, get to the nearest window with the fire escape, wrench it open, and get down as fast as she can to the street level.
As you are saying the words fire escape, you see that the light changes, and you hear this like burst of the doors just being slammed open of this coat closet. And you see her look up, kind of jump back. The computer laptop gets tilted, so the keyboard is up and the screen is kind of down, and you kind of get an upward view. You see her being almost like picked up and dragged as the computer kind of tumbles. It doesn't completely shut though. And almost in a found footage type style, you see Naomi being dragged away while a figure that, Jesse, you are quite familiar with, tips his hat, taps his cane, and you see that the emergency exit to the fire escape begins to shift and change, almost like a sun catcher in the light. The moonlight kind of dances on the window, making it kind of glisten as bright colored city lights reflect on the opposite side, very different from the city that she's in. You're able to get the call to the police done. Sid. Sid, do you join the call again?
Sid would pop back on as soon as he had done that and just say, "Fuck, I lost the call. What's going on?"
I think she's already gone. Or a little too late.
What do you mean she's already gone?
The fancy sleep paralysis demon guy we were talking about earlier would have showed up after.
The Hat Man?
Window. Yeah, the window, the fire escape. I was trying to tell her to get out it, and I would try to meet her down on the street, but it got really swirly and weird, like the sewer grate did earlier tonight when I was out in the alley. I think it's kind of safe to say that not here.
Well, what do we do?
I guess either we do nothing or we go in there after.
And if we need to go in there after her, I know of a sewer grate that could possibly work.
God, why do I do this? Why am I even trying to do this? All right, hang on. And I'm going to try something. My character does not want to try to do this. But having heard a number of things, I actually would like to say, if I may, that he doesn't like going to the Mad City, but it's happened. And he knows that there are all manner of different portals and different ways of getting there. And so this isn't even, I don't think unless he somehow is bending his statistical ability, which maybe for this he might not even be using powers. But I am going to go ahead and increase my exhaustion by 1 before I attempt to make any sort of roll for this. He's going to be looking around for any garage doors, archways, anything hopefully that he can drive through. Anything that shouldn't belong there, that he knows doesn't belong there. And to try to get there in the car, in the company car if he can, because that'll hopefully give an advantage. And there's a thing that he knows will make it easier that he detests doing. He has not listened to the radio for a considerable amount of time, and but for some reason it's easier to slip into the Mad City when he does, because it often lately has been playing this one particular song. He does not understand the significance of this, and it's I'm gonna apologize in advance should I be bringing worse things upon us by doing this. But the thing is that it's whenever he turns on the radio, for some reason, it goes to the satellite Beatles station and it plays a particular song from 1966, the Revolver album, and that song is entitled "The Taxman." So he's going to play it, and it's like, God damn it. Don't screw me on this. And he's going to just turn on the radio, and he's going to look for a gateway.
Let's roll. Gateways are pretty easy to find. I'm only going to do a 3 dice here.
Okay. I am going to increase my exhaustion by 1 so that I have an exhaustion. I'd like to use 3 madness.
Absolutely.
And Phil doesn't even know why he's sticking his neck out for this person, but he just had an impulse. And it's like, no, God damn it, not again. All right. Oh my God. Okay. So, it's going to glay. I have only 1 success. I have 1 success. I have here. But I have 2 6s in madness.
I also have 2 6s.
In madness, I also have a 4 and a 1. I didn't. No, wait. I'm sorry. I apologize. I misread my dice. I do not have 2. Well, I do have 2 6s, but unfortunately, they're in separate die pools, so it doesn't count. So you pain's going to dominate here. So yeah, I've just got the. I've only got the 1 6 in madness. So there it is.
You absolutely succeed. And unfortunately, though, you are driving along, and it almost looks like someone is going to try and cut you off before you see what looks like a tunnel. Like where normally there's a bridge, it almost appears to be like a tunnel. And you're able to quickly veer to the right to go towards that, speeding through to the other side. And we're gonna pause on that. Phil drops from the call.
Yeah.
What does everyone else do?
This seems bad.
Yeah.
I don't
Okay, can you?
well.
Jesse, as you're sitting at your computer, do you see that the bathroom door, normally a wooden door, it appears to be made of stone.
Ooh. Am I the only one who notices this? Or like, if I point it out to everyone else, will they see it?
Can we see it? Because your background is llamas.
Oh, my door. Oh, I thought you meant the someone else. Okay, so my
No,
bathroom
in
door is.
your room, your bathroom door changes.
Now, if you'd like to turn off the llama farm, we can see if we can see it. But
Okay, I'm going to say like, oh look, I'm inside the farm now. Boop. And then you see the background. Does that look like a stone door to you?
It's glitchy, almost like, but you can tell that it looks to be stone, but it's like shifts within the eye of the camera.
Yeah, Jesse, there's a glitch in the Matrix.
Delicious.
big one. I'd maybe never use that bathroom ever again.
It's unfortunate because I had a lot of coffee.
Ada, do you have a balcony in your apartment?
Probably a really small one, like one of those ones that just has like that little strip of like space.
I don't. I think I live in like a brownstone. So the less balcony, more like back stairs / fire escape.
I gotcha. For Ada, your small balcony, the sliding glass door, it looks like a waterfall.
The door or just right outside?
The door itself.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
so I think that Ada has been to the Mad City once before, but I think she over rationalized it to the point where she doesn't actually believe that she's ever really been. And when she sees that, and now she can't just explain it away as a phone glitch, I think that her brain just kind of like stops working for a few seconds, and everyone's talking, and she's just like, you can see, like I said, like she's in the dark basically, but with her phone like in her hand on video, and she just gets slowly more illuminated as she walks closer to the door, because whatever street light or sliver of a moon that's peeking through the clouds or whatever is like illuminating her face more as she walks towards the window. Sorry, does the world usually get as glitchy as phones? Has anyone ever experienced that before, or am I having a stroke? And her eyes are just like rapidly kind of like moving like side to side, kind of like looking at, like trying to focus on something of the door, but it's glitching so much that she can't focus.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of that going on right now. We're going to unpack all of this later, but
Sid, you're in your car, correct?
I am.
as the rain pelts down on your windshield, the raindrops themselves make the windshield look as though it's made of jello. So like as the drops, it wiggles as the raindrops fall. Ash, that you know where that sewer entrance is. What do you all do?
Well, I guess I'll... You all there? Nothing popped up where I'm at, so I'm gonna have to go back down to the street. But I saw a guy fall into a manhole earlier. That one.
Sorry, see us all where?
The Mad City, of course. Let's go. And Sid's just going to go through the windshield.
Drops from the call, right?
The call drops for Sid. Sid is out of the chat.
Mads. What?
Yeah, the world's a little glitchier than just in your phone, unfortunately. A weird place. I'll find you when you get there.
When I get where?
Just go
Ash,
in the waterfall.
are you inside right now?
Yeah.
As you get ready to leave, the doorway you would leave out of, the lights change in the hallway. Instead of the fluorescent white light, there is a green hue to it.
Well, how kind. I don't have to go all the way down to the street after all. I'll look back at my laptop. I'll see you guys in a few, and I'll shut it and walk out the door.
Ash leaves the call.
I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna be the last one in. I don't believe what's happening right now. It is gonna take everybody being out of that Discord call and just like dropping out of nowhere for me to be like, what do I do now?
Jesse, the stone door almost slowly is morphing. The stones that make it up almost twist almost into a pattern. What do you do? Are you there, Mika?
Oh, sorry. This is my first time playing Jesse Lemons as a character name, and so
Totally fine.
I keep hearing Jesse. I'm like, yeah. Who's Jesse? What are they gonna do now? Oh, that's me. Can you repeat that?
Jesse, the stone door that originally was a wooden door to your bathroom begins morphing. These stones, perfectly laid out, now twist and twirl into like a pattern, like constantly moving.
I'm going to sigh, seeing that it just looks like it's going to keep happening. I go through the door.
Jesse drops from the call, leaving Ada, and you see that the waterfall begins to kind of change. It starts at the top left corner. You see the streams of water pour down, and almost as one drop, the water falls, it starts turning to glass. You only have so much time before the doorway closes.
She's gonna hear that final like drop of someone from the Discord call. And kind of take a few seconds, sit there, say, this is gonna take a lot more years of therapy, and step through.
As you all step through, you are greeted by bright lights. The sky is filled with bright stars, and the city lights somehow don't drown them out. You see a moon in the sky that seems to, depending on how you glance at it, almost looks iridescent, all kinds of colors coming off of it. There are large buildings, city streets. It is bustling, and you see a car crashed into a light post as we find Phil. Phil, your entrance into the Mad City was a little bit more difficult than the others, but you are the company's not going to be too happy about this.
Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, that sucks. Am I okay, I guess, is the question.
You're physically all right. Maybe a little shaken.
It's like,
And the
why do I keep
taxman,
walking away from crashes? Sorry, go ahead.
the song playing, the taxman in the background begins to warp, saying the words "Welcome home."
Thanks. Sort of stumbles out of the car. It's like, God damn it. I'm playing this character a lot more aggressively than I thought I was going to. But anyway, we need to. I don't know if I should have assigned my fight and flight the way I did. Oh well. Scramble out of the car. I'm just like, crap. Well, I'll worry about that later. All right. Where am I? I'm just sort of looking around.
You see
Landmarks.
4 people kind of looking as though they have walked through and are not expecting what is on the other side. You all see each other. The Mad City has mysterious ways, and you've all ended up where you need to be, near each other.
It was the sudden switch to cobblestone, I think, did it. It's a problem sometimes here, I think. I haven't tried driving here before. Probably I'm not going to try that again. Maybe. Hi.
Hi. I'm sorry, so this is the first time you've driven here, so you've just visited here before,
Yeah,
just
sometimes. Well, I don't like to. I never like to. It just sometimes it just sort of happens. It's happened a handful of times. One time I went through the wrong door on an airplane and I ended up like on a rooftop with a bunch of other airplane pieces. It was really weird. Yeah, and the other times I don't know. It's just it happens sometimes. Usually easier when I have the radio on. Whoever's doing that knows. Okay, yeah, sorry, but yeah, I don't. The problem is geography changes, so I don't know. You know, if we got to figure out where we are and where Naomi is, I guess. Are we good? Hi. How are you all doing?
not great.
It's fine.
And she has not looked at any of you other than like when she first initially like realized that you were all there. She's just looking around. So.
As you scan around, one thing just kind of pops out to most of you just because of how large it is. You stand almost what looks like inside of a city square. But what's odd about it is like you are in like a courtyard, and it almost appears to the like northeast of you that it almost looks like a portion of land was plopped down on top of where it is. You see a large crack in the pavement with a sign that says District 13. Sitting between that, there's almost oddly positioned, is a large clock tower, beckoning you forward. You see that on the clock, there are the normal 1 through 12, but there's one number added, and that is the 13, the 13th hour. You guys are in the Mad City, located towards the center. There, of course, is the District 13 and whatever awaits you within the clock tower. But I feel like this is the perfect time to go on break. As you guys all watch this looming old clock tower, very similar to Big Ben, but more twisty and windy, as we see what else unfolds. Will you save Naomi? We'll find out after the break.
Right.
Hi, everybody. We are back for the second half of Don't Rest Your Head. Previously, our group has been able to get back to the Mad City. Naomi has been taken by the Crooked Man that one of our players, Jesse Lemon, has had as a sleep paralysis demon for some time, slowly getting closer and closer. But luckily, the Crooked Man tipped his hat as he left with his cargo, and now you all are in the Mad City. One of you crash landed, but the Mad City has ways of getting people where they need to be, and standing before you is a large clock tower. It almost twists in a way, in a spiral. It is very much the old Art Deco type style. There are 13 hours on this clock, and currently the clock is at 10.
I'm assuming we have 3 hours. By the way, hi everyone. I guess it's nice to meet you IRL or whatever.
Not with your llamas in the background.
Yeah, I miss them dearly. I
You
wish I
look
could have brought
different
them.
without them.
Hopefully someone
Yeah.
on your farm can take care of them for you.
I mean, technically they're not my farms, so I'm just an inspector. I grow very close to those llamas, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe there
Now
will
you
be
can
a
see the
llama farm
confusion.
here for you to inspect.
Maybe. That would be.
There very well could be. And I should clarify, the clock says 10:24.
Ooh.
I hate that specificity so much, and I can't explain why, but I hate it on a visceral level.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Well,
Was it 10:24 when we left? When I walked through the door to the hallway, was it 10:24?
It was 10:08, 10:09.
It was a casual 20.
You'd think
Do
time
that.
travel would be like, or like dimension hopping or whatever would be like instantaneous.
Yeah,
Apparently it's
you'd
not.
certainly think that. How strange.
Uh, as you're kind of standing out front, you see heading towards the clock tower. There's a door at the very bottom of it. There is a couple. They are dressed in what looks like nice formal wear. Uh, the woman has like a long black gown on, and both of them are wearing a mask. Not like a face mask, but like an actual like masquerade mask on their face. As they are heading towards the clock tower, kind of towards the door. He's wearing a nice tux suit.
Is Jesse still wearing the mask? The same mask as before?
I think that mask probably did not go with him. I'm not sure why I feel this way, but I feel like that's like this city just does not allow for that kind of hidden from people who enter.
Except for those people.
Yeah. Well, good point. Yeah. I don't know. From Jesse, yeah, like it doesn't let Jesse hide. And so you see this very and I guess you could probably see that like he's very scruffy looking guy. Disheveled. Despite having like very crisp white shirt, very crisp pants, but like his non-clothing features are very scruffy, muscled hair and stuff. And the reason is because, in my mind anyway, somebody can correct me, I feel like it's easier to join cults when you look like you're kind of desperate, I guess. And so
Does
that's
any-
just kind of the appearance he gives himself.
Yes, does anyone have any real world say of yes or no for that?
The closest I can give you is a psych degree. So, sorta?
Sort of, oh, no, okay.
I mean, I learned about
The books say like you're not entirely wrong.
Yeah. So we'll go with it it's a one shot. We'll go with it.
It makes sense. You're trying to show that you're as an investigative reporter trying to get in, looking as though you're trying to find a path. It could make someone prey on you. So it makes sense. But absolutely. Yeah, the couple walks through the door. You see there is a bouncer on the outside. And what's kind of strange is the bouncer sort of looks like a chess piece.
So think
Specifically,
we
it looks
should
more
crash
like
this party?
I think our names are on this guest list.
Only one way to find out. Do you all head towards the clock tower?
I guess so. I'm guessing we just know that's our destination because the clock tower is in, like, that's just the connections we're making.
Yes. So,
I'm assuming. Yeah.
what you guys would know, especially because you've done research on it, Jesse, this clock tower matches almost exactly what the profile picture does of
Okay.
the people that went missing, down to the clock face having 13 hours, all of it.
Okay.
It definitely it is too much of a coincidence to that kind of points out in your mind, like there could be a clock, another one that looks exactly like this, but the likelihood is that this is it.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, tally ho. Jesse heads that way.
You head towards the clock tower. And does everyone follow? As you head there, getting closer, it is just towering above. It almost feels like it grows taller the closer you get, like it grows, almost kind of looming above. But as you approach the door, you see that the almost what's odd about it is it appears to be a rook piece. Chess piece. Like if a rook piece could be a person, you can see that almost etched into this tower figure. You see that this chess piece has like arms that cross, and you see that there are little wheels that are underneath it to be able to move about as they wish. But the piece just watches over you very quizzically.
Of course, we had to come at 10:24, so we have to wait so long until the next hour to see if it does anything with its arms. I used to go to a college that had a clock tower that like played a different song, but like made it sound like it was being played on bells every hour, and I was always
Oh
so
my
excited to
God.
see what it did next. So I'm kind of just sitting here like, is it gonna like move? Is it gonna like play a song and dance with its arms? Like what's happening here? But
As you're like kind of staring, wondering of like how does this thing work, you see the top of the tower kind of like tilt their head, and they say, can I help you? And this is, I should say, there is the clock tower, and then there is the bouncer chess piece that is out front.
and the
And
clock
it's
tower talks.
it's the
to me.
bouncer talking to you.
Okay.
Sorry, it's the rook piece of a chess piece. Sorry, I will
The
say
clock tower
rook
was
instead
talking
of
to me, and I
tower.
was like,
I did too, and that
We-
was incredible.
We haven't hit that point yet, but
Yet.
yes,
We'll get there.
we aren't that far yet. But it
was
could
like, this
happen. Who knows?
I know I said this was gonna take a few years in therapy to get over, but clock tower talking already like double it.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big bill. But yeah, the rook piece just kind of stares, and they just say, "All right, like it's me. Hi, hi. Yep, not that. Down here. Hiya."
We'd like to get in, please. Kind of like looks back at the group to see if
You see that the rook just looks at you and just, okay, all right. You guys are what, first time visitors?
First time visitors,
Only-
long time fans.
All right. Well, I mean, I've heard that word of the Clock Tower Club was going to get around, but
is
you
it
know,
one big marketing technique.
I'm sorry.
You just said that this place has gotten a lot more uptick recently, and it's a long story. I feel like I shouldn't tell you right now while you're staring at us looking like we're crazy.
We're just impressed. We're so impressed by your marketing. That's how word got out to us.
Okay.
And we're so glad to be here.
All right, I will tell the Duchess that the chess pieces were a hit. Okay. Well, Well, honestly, you all seem new, so let me just tell you the rules, all right? Um, you need a mask first off. You know, there's an anonymity here of what goes on. So, but I can hook you up. It's okay. And you see, the uh rook piece checks behind them, and just gets into a box and pulls out these different like masquerade masks. All right. Look, I've got a variety. If you want, you can check in the box, see what fits you, or what doesn't, or whatever you like. But you're gonna need that to get it. It's just the rule. I don't understand it, but whatever. And then we've got a variety of entertainment here. Uh, Depends on what floor you want to go on. It gets more intense the higher up you get. But you know, do what you want. Just don't. There's only so much tomfoolery that we're okay with. So just, you know, be nice to your neighbors. And
How about chicanery?
sorry, can you repeat?
How about chicanery?
This is Mary not knowing the word, unfortunately.
Terpsichorery? No, sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize.
You're
I'm just saying
fine, you're
synonyms
fine.
for tomfoolery.
Thank you. Thank you. This is Mary having a blonde moment of like, what? So looking at the orange juice box and saying concentrate. But basically, it says, yeah, you know, just don't get into fights. There's stuff for everybody. You just gotta wait and see. But can I get your names, anybody? Just so we know, like,
I thought I thought the masks were anonymity.
oh,
So
you're
now you
right.
need our names, but you want us to not show our face?
Look, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I just got hired last night. I used to work at the chess club. It makes sense. I apparently let in the wrong people, and they started playing checkers, and that wasn't a really good thing. But look, yeah, no names, and he just like they tuck the clipboard behind, like in the box, that they thought they were prepared for the day, but you can tell that this denizen of the Mad City uh, is very new to their job and could potentially help you.
Um, I'm gonna start rifling through looking for a mask. And, like, if no one else says anything for a few seconds, I think I'll kind of just say, any other newbies like us show up here recently?
Oh, you know, maybe a couple or a few people wander in every now and then. There was a guy that didn't have a shoe on that stumbled in here a little bit
Takes
ago.
everything in Ash to not laugh. Everything. Every bone in their body.
Um, but yeah, no, I mean, well, it kind of depends. See, the club just started a couple months back, or I think it was a couple months. Times are kind of odd here. Um, but you know, we've been just having a party every night and every night. Uh, but I don't want to keep you any longer than I need to. Um,
I still have to pick a mask, so
oh yes, sorry, that's number
and
customers
she
always
like goes
right.
back to rifling and keeping busy in case anyone else also wants to ask any questions.
So you asked for our names. Has anyone ever actually given you a name?
Oh, and you almost look as like this chess piece is short circuited for a moment, and then they just say, well, I was newly created. I was Rook 7295. You could call me Rookie.
Mhm. Is there significance to 7295?
Oh, I just think I was the 7,295th Rook to be created, but
Yeah. So, it's nice to meet you. So in the past, like how you asked for our names to enter, even though it's anonymous, has anyone responded with their names?
oh yeah, there's a few people, but I'm
Like
not.
who?
I need you to roll for that.
Yeah, I was hoping for that. The investigation. Okay, so that's these 3 dice. I've got a level of exhaustion, so I roll the exhaustion dice.
Yep. You can choose to add another exhaustion if you wish, or you can just keep with your 1, and then you can have between 1 and 6 madness dice.
And then I will add 2 madness dice. Okay. So
The Rook has 4.
4 successes. Should have 3 successes. The highest number being a 6, and that's on my discipline dice.
Okay. I got 1 success, so you succeed. I also have a 6 on
Okay.
my roll. I keep rolling 6s. I don't get this. But what is your next? Do you have any more 6s after that?
No, I have 2 5s.
Okay. So I have 2 more 6s, so that means Pain wins. As you're asking these questions, you have the feeling of being watched.
Okay.
And you see that it almost looks like there is shadows that have the silhouette that looks like the Hat Man, the Crooked Man, that start to like appear. Not fully formed, but they are aware of something. And I get another despair token. But you did succeed on your information, and so Rookie just says, well, you see, we did have a few paper boys come in. You know, we usually get visited by Officer Talk, just to make sure there's no funny business going on. Really don't want to be there when that happens. I usually hide. But you know, the Duchess is good at protecting us, so.
Okay, but there's no names like the Rook doesn't name any of the names like the missing people.
No names of missing people.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna go through the masks, and I'm gonna pick one that's got like the long nose, birdie nose. Yeah.
The long nose, yeah, you're able to pick one perfectly fits your face, almost as though it was made for you. What other masks is everyone choosing?
I think Ash digs through the box until they find one that is fairly simple in shape, but is more intricate in design. So it's one that really only covers their eyes with like the small flicks at the end, but it's checkerboard of black and red, and it looks sort of like their flannel. They constantly wear.
Love it. And it does fit your face perfectly. Like, just shockingly so.
As I'm sort of rifling through the box, I am going to ask a couple of questions, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to ask Ricky real quick. I'm just like, a couple of questions for you. He looks disturbed. He's looking through the box. He says, did you happen to see a guy sort of moving at weird angles, bringing a lady in here a little earlier? Did you? With I sort of describe Naomi's sort of hair color a little bit, and just roughly approximation of what she was wearing.
Oh yeah. That's floor 6.
6. Good. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, new entertainer.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. We got to maybe catch their act. And he says again, disturbed at the masks that keep coming up as he's like, and other important question, the Duchess by any chance isn't a fan of Eyes Wide Shut, is she?
Oh, we're not that kind of club. Don't worry.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, good. And he finally just picks up a mask and he's like, the same mask that keeps moving to the surface, as though this is like the only mask he can seem to pick up. And he's like, oh, it figures. And it's a death, sort of a death skull mask.
Very nice.
He just finally sighs and accepts.
The first mask that comes to mind, just thinking about it, is in Dark Knight Rises, the movie. Catwoman wears like just that black simple lace one, and I feel like I wouldn't go for any of like the really extravagant ones, so I think I'd probably go for something pretty simple but elegant, because like this is probably Ada's first time actually going to a masquerade, so she still wants to feel like you always read about it in books. So
what about Sid? And again, these masks fit perfectly, and it almost has like a feeling of that this was meant for you. But what does Sid wear?
I think for Sid, it is one that is a combination of the comedy and tragedy masks, one side for each, and it is straightforward in black and white, and I think looks a little strange against like their very casual attire, because that is so much fancier than like the slightly rumpled t-shirt and jeans that they are wearing.
It almost has there's a sense to it of a familiarity. There's ease at putting it on, and you are all fit to enter the Clock Tower Club. The rook kind of knocks on the door and just says, all right, well, have a good time, enjoy the entertainment, get a snack or two, and just leave a good review, please. I don't want to get fired. The door opens. You hear music inside, and there's laughter, voices, entertaining space inside.
not exactly the screams I was expecting to hear. And then she'll say it a little bit louder just in case like not everyone heard her over the music.
What?
Not exactly the screams I was planning to hear.
As you're inside, the what's very interesting as you get into this entryway, you see that there is to your direct left, there's a set of a spiral staircase leading upward. You also see on this main floor, it looks like there is a bar. There is what seems to be like some sort of show going on, that there's a lot of people crowded around the stage. It's hard to see what's actually going on stage, but you do hear music being played. It's almost like a mixture of a classical music and mixed with like almost like a techno blend of sorts.
Would my headphones have come with me if they were just shoved in my pocket?
Yeah.
I kind of put them in, no music, but just protect the eardrums.
Absolutely valid. It is a little bit loud in here, but at least on this floor. But you, what do you guys do? Are you staying on the outskirts? What's your plan? What's your in here?
It's a
I
great
think-
question.
Well, we heard floor 6, right?
Yep.
So I think I'd look to Phil and kind of just like do the floor 6, right?
No, I
she's not
don't think
used to
we should
being in
stick
front.
around. We should go to floor 6.
That's what I said. And
You're
then-
right. That is a good idea.
Yeah.
So you are all traveling up to floor 6.
I'm looking and seeing if I can get onto Mad City Yelp, and so I can leave a good review. For
There is Yelp, and you get to leave some X marks, and it's a
Rookie was very helpful. Good job.
He was
y-
very helpful. Why do my friends keep getting kidnapped to come here, though? Question mark.
do you look at any of the reviews on Yelp?
Ooh.
I probably barely pay attention. Only like my only as my eyes scan it for a second, looking where to type it in as I'm trying to head up the stairs.
I think maybe Jesse notices if maybe this isn't another investigation roll for my ability to, if there's anything useful on there, that Jesse like sees other reviews and like grabs the phone.
Yeah, we can do a roll for that. Go ahead and build your dice pool.
Cool. I'm going to use another exhaustion to get another dice from that. And then I will use 2 madness dice.
Okay, and then I'm going to use 5 pain because this is something different than you're used to looking at.
Ooh, okay. So that's 4 successes, 2 6s. One of the 6s discipline, one of the 6s is exhaustion.
Well, your exhaustion ability would go off, giving you more successes, which is good because I got 4 successes as well. And your 6 beats my 5. So discipline usually goes first in the lineup. I'd say usually, it always goes first in the lineup. But discipline wins out. So as you're looking through the Yelp reviews, you some of them are just like plain like the 5 X marks, and what there's a couple that stick out to you that are actual writing. One of them says, we went to the Clock Tower Club a few nights ago. They had a new act going. It was very interesting seeing the sewing performance. And it just really was able to feel the intensity of what was going on.
I think I would go to clubs more if there were sewing demonstrations.
Yeah.
Another one says, we went to the Clock Tower Club a few weeks ago. We were very surprised by the comedy performance. They looked terrified. Great act.
Oh, yeah, I read these all out loud. All right, sewing, terrified comedy. Was anyone on the server a sewist? That's not the term. That's not the word. I'm a simple llama investigator. I don't know these things.
I somehow think that they were not making a quilt or something like that. I have a feeling it may be not as pleasant as
I
that
didn't even-
would sound.
I didn't even think of that possibility. I literally did not even think of that possibility.
You guys would know that David was actually a stand-up comedian, and Jared was a fashion designer.
Okay.
Okay, so maybe my mind just went really dark and it's not that bad, and they were just making a quilt.
I mean, there's lots of things you can do with threads, so if they were... The review said that they were... Okay, the comedy people were scared. Did it say anything, like, what was the sewing demonstration? Were they scared? Did it say what
it
they were
was
doing
very
with the sewing?
intense, is what
Okay.
someone said.
In my experience, quilt making isn't that intense. But I'm not a quilter, so it could have been a demonstration. I'm not going to get into gory details here, but I can think of some not great things that could have been done if the comedy was terrified and the sewing was maybe a little grotesque.
Hey, what was Naomi good at?
Naomi was a writer. She's working on a book currently. Always too nervous to actually publish it. Always constantly editing.
Yeah, it's relatable. My articles are... And then he pauses right there like, oh. Nope, zip up about real life.
As we're walking up the stairs to the 6th floor, are there any like posters around that talk about like the schedule of the club, like upcoming events and stuff? Do we see?
Yeah. The walls are kind of like peppered with papers. You see many have been like stapled on and over, but you do catch familiar faces, at least from what you've known from their profiles. You see Cecilia, Jared. You also know of another person that went missing, Her name's Amelia. You see David, and then you see Giselle. All of them have been missing within the last 2 months from your group. And now Naomi. And actually a newly stapled onto the wall paper has Naomi's face. And in the images that you see, they almost look like an old school cabaret type image, more so of like there is a writer writing something and you see like a monster looming over. Another one, you see the person looks like they're doing stand-up, but are absolutely terrified, bewildered at whatever they're seeing. The designer sitting at the sewing machine just has a look of intensity as like this unending fabric looks like it's almost alive, like slowly wrapping them up. But those are the images you see as you walk up the stairs.
I think after seeing a few of them, Ada kind of... First of all, she'll point them out. But I think as she's pointing them out, she says, I guess in a city that's so odd, being normal is the oddity, the freak show stuff.
You all make it to the 6th floor. It's a little bit more sparse up here, so you can see the main stage. You see a bewildered Naomi on stage. There are many denizens of the Mad City, some more human than others. You see some that are like these smoke or like wisp creatures sitting at a table. You see others that look to be like human but very exaggerated features. Others that are almost indescribable of just some of the worst things you could imagine in your nightmares. Things that you would be scared would be under your bed. Sitting with a cocktail, watching her write, but you see like almost in a way that she's always been someone that works through her thoughts aloud. And she is, as she is writing, she says, no, look, if they're running through the forest, obviously something has to chase them. And as she's speaking through these things, you see that the scenery around her and on stage begins to change as she's like writing these things down.
I'm going to be reckless and call out, nothing has to be chasing them. They could just be frolicking.
You see her kind of give a look out into the audience of almost a confusion, and then shakes her head. Almost whatever is keeping her in there causes a barrier for you to hear, for her to hear you. And you see another denizen. They are almost like a bird-like creature with long talons, just says, shh, you're ruining it. This is the new entertainment.
Seems like you have new entertainment every night.
That's the point.
Yeah, so it can't be that like if you miss tonight's, then you can just do another night's. It's fine, it's whatever.
We got a heckler over here?
Oh my god. I'm not heckling them, I'm heckling you. It's
Uh,
not a heckle, I'm just having a night. I'm not yelling. We're having a nice little disagreement. It's fine.
this bird creature stands up, looming before you. Their wingspan kind of fluffs out with their talons.
Mm.
And they appear to be like part bird, part person. Their beak on their face looks to be almost like dripping with a substance. And that's when you notice the glass on the table appears to be a dark red color.
Ooh. First thing going through my head is, oh, I should be treating this more like a cult and trying to grade myself. I was not thinking. Okay, so it looks like this bird just ate something.
So
Like
you're
the dark
heckling
red.
me?
Bad word choice. We're having a minor disagreement. But you know what? It's my first time here. I'm lost. I'm a little too much to drink. Honestly, do you mind if maybe I get you a drink? I just sit down and apologize and listen to what you have to say about. Just teach me, I guess.
You see that the this creature just starts like bending their fingers, and like you hear like the pop 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 of like
Mhm.
ready to fight. What does everyone else do at this point?
I am so sorry. My friend is so incredibly drunk. You know better than that, Jesse. You know better than that.
Jesse.
I was just nervous.
Yeah, I told you not to pregame. You didn't listen.
No, I didn't. I'm a very bad listener.
And
Famous.
now you're disrupting the show.
You're right. I'm just.
Sid, I would like you to roll to diffuse this situation.
I would love to.
Did one of them repeat the name after it was said out loud? Just to be clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right, I'm gonna roll with 2 badness die.
All right. Do you want to add any exhaustion to this?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so you can add 1 exhaustion die. I am rolling 5 for this creature.
All right, that is 3 successes, and my highest dice is a 5 on madness.
So you succeed, but pain overrides. As you are able to describe. Yeah, we obviously just did the describing of how you diffuse it, but like, are there any last parting words that you would give to try and get everyone away from this nightmare?
I think what Sid tries to do is like puts one arm around Jesse and is like guiding him off to the side and trying to use the others of like, come on, you know, our friend's drunk, like let's take care of him, let's get him away from the stage, but probably in that way putting himself in the middle.
You put yourself in the middle, and this creature just says, "I'll see you around," and clomps off to another floor, making sure to make eye contact with Jesse.
Yeah, Jesse avoids the eye contact. Very flippantly.
The attention has not gone on unnoticed, though, as the clock dings 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Time zones are a soup in the Mad City as well. But as the clock dings 11, you see, as you've been, the others that weren't necessarily in the predicament of being stared down by a bird creature, were you watching what was happening on stage?
I was actually wondering if I could try to use my exhaustion ability. Basically, like, I kind of have the video game ability of like analyzing the situation, but like the things that are important kind of just like have a little bit of like a glow, almost like they're a little bit more important. Um, Maybe not like with context of like why they're important, but just like I can tell like, okay, focus on that or focus on this. So I was probably trying to look around the entire room while this whole debacle was happening, probably like trying to step a little distance away so I'm not like right next to Jesse and like attention's right on the thing, right like on the person right next to me, and trying to see if I can analyze.
Absolutely. Would you like to add exhaustion to your pool?
I absolutely, I will add one. I think at this point she's already like, just character wise, she's definitely drained in the sense of like, where even are we? So, ooh, okay. This is one of those games you don't want to roll high for, and you get excited when you see like high numbered dice, and then you realize, no, that's bad. No. But I rolled a 2, so I have 1 success, and my highest was a 6 in my discipline dice pool.
Did you get a success in your exhaustion?
Nope.
Okay.
I got a 5.
So the exhaustion talent ability doesn't go off, giving you 3 free successes. And how many successes total did you get?
Just the 1.
Okay, so you actually failed this roll.
Oof.
Feels bad. It's my first time rolling dice tonight. It feels bad.
As you are all standing around, you've drawn attention to yourselves a little bit, and you see what looks like a they appear to be like a snake begin slithering, very large, start slithering towards your group. I'm going to give you 1 exhaustion for that failure, as you just seeing all of these oddities, all these strange things. It begins to be too much for you.
I was gonna say, I feel like there's probably so many weird things that she doesn't know how to tell what's important and what's not, because like so many things are novel.
You do notice things as this is happening, as you've kind of drawn attention toward yourself in this way. You do notice that as all of this is happening, the Naomi, as the scenery around her starts changing, she's just says, no, I'm the writer. I get to choose what happens. And you see this hulking figure start showing up behind her. The creature that she had described previously as the one chasing the people, as it starts to charge her, and you see her begin to run. As this fear is building, this feeling of losing control, you see the denizens here, the nightmares. You being awakened can see things others can't, and you see this energy begin to draw out of Naomi as this happens. The nightmares around feel rejuvenated and almost like in a euphoric state as they watch, kind of clapping and almost as like a standing ovation for the scene before them. And you see that Naomi looks like more tired. She was already incredibly tired when you started. She'd probably been going 3 days without sleep. she looks worse for wear.
So everyone, when you say that they're seeming euphoric, do they seem like they're getting drunk off of her fear, or is it like...
Yes.
Okay.
It's
So-
intoxicating for them.
So would it be safe to say that they're a happy drunk right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Happily distracted.
Okay.
So you've brought attention on yourself enough from the people directly around you.
Okay. I'm starting to piece it all together. If we've already drawn attention to ourselves, I think I'm going to kind of yell out the therapist, like, Naomi, you wrote it into existence. You can write it out. And kind of hope that she hears, and even though I know I don't heed my own advice a lot of times, in that sense, I'm hoping that she will hear a voice that hopefully sounds familiar saying something that could hopefully be of assistance.
I would like you, because there's a barrier around her, so it's going to take something like supernatural almost to be able to break through and get to her. Can you roll for me?
Okay. And I feel like that seems like something I should add madness die for, so I'll do 2 for that. Alright, so 3, 1, 2. Okay, so I do the total of how many successes I get between all the dice pools, right?
Yep, the total number of successes.
Okay.
This is a 5-die pain roll. Okay.
So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes, and my greatest number was a 6 in my discipline pool.
Well, you definitely succeed. And I'm going to use one of my despair tokens, and I'm going to take away that 6.
Well, that's
Rude.
that's unfortunate. My next
Um,
dice is a 3.
all right, then
Unfortunate.
pain is
Rough.
going to overrule
Mhm.
this roll. You begin to experience a nosebleed trying to pierce through. You're able to successfully do it,
Okay.
but it comes at a cost for you. But you have a hope coin now, which means that there are some abilities you can use to get rid of exhaustion, get rid of your boxes. We haven't really checked a lot of boxes yet tonight, but or add to your roll. You are able to break through to her, and it's almost as though she sees, almost breaking the fourth wall of seeing what's actually going on. She's notices, you see a slight crack in her face of like from what she was experiencing before, realizing what's going on, and she kind of changes. And she just says, yeah, we're running away from the monster, but I've got to find the other people first, and I think they're on some other floors that you might need to get to, and we can't do it too soon though, because that would make for a bad storyline, so we need to plan it out properly so we can't get caught by this giant monster behind me. And you see, as she's acting as scared about whatever the story that she is writing, the people are so distracted around you that they almost become like in a haze, allowing you to do what you need to do.
Perfect. I make, like, even with the mask on, I make sure that she can tell that my face is pointed directly at her, like, no, like acknowledging exactly what she's saying. She knows that I am hearing and I am understanding and helping. Is everyone else is able to kind of like focus on that too, or is like too many other things happening all at once?
I would say you all are able to focus on it. The fact that Naomi is your friend. You came here for a reason, and that is to help find her and possibly the others. It would make sense.
Okay. Well, then if everyone heard that I don't need to relay, but I keep wanting to like just say like quippy little things. So I'm like, I don't think they need alcohol to get drunk here. And she says it kind of like in that like, I don't think like just I don't know, if in case attention is on us, but
I hear you. Yeah, you're able to kind of impart that to Naomi. And she gives a subtle nod to understand what you're saying.
and then I add
going,
a stay strong at the end of that too, I think. If I can.
Yeah, you absolutely can. And she responds and says, I'll hold on as long as I can. But we're going to have to break them out of it. And she kind of gives a nod.
I give like a little curt nod from the back of the crowd. And I look back at the rest of the crew.
I have a question about specific inflection.
Mhm.
Does it seem, just because I am not there, my character is there, so I just want to make sure what my character is perceiving here. Is the way Naomi is speaking about this, does it seem as though she is suggesting that she needs to be broken out of this? Or is she, in fact, seeming to suggest more that there are, in fact, other people on other floors we have to go get before we get her?
A mixture of both. It seems as though it depends on what you want to do. Because it seems
I think I figured a way to get her out, but I just need to figure out.
If you want to just grab Naomi and do it now and run, that is a perfectly viable option. There are still 5 other people that are stuck here on other floors that you could go get. But you are going to have to plan a way to break them out, because once one's broken out, to put it plainly, as you guys are kind of watching this and being more accustomed to the Mad City itself, you start to see almost the charlatan abilities of this place, that really these people are in enclosures being watched in the worst moments that they can think of. And should you try and break one out, it will sound an alarm. So you need to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and how many people are you willing to risk to save.
It kind of seems like Naomi would probably be the most important, not most important, but the one that would be the most helpful to us to get other people out, considering she kind of has been in here the least amount of time to like kind of understand what's happening and have probably seen the others. Whereas a lot of them might have been so disillusioned for so long. But I think we do need to at least see what the situation looks like for everyone else, so we know what we're dealing with. Once we get one out, we can get the next person out, and know what's up. Does everyone else agree, or is anyone against that?
Like Okay, can you repeat that?
So I think if it's gonna kind of sound an alarm once we try to break one person out, Naomi probably makes the most sense to try to get first, because she, like, outside of this world already knew to try to look for people, and
Mhm.
also has probably been here for the least amount of time, so she's probably like the easiest to kind of get back on track of like, let's get the others.
But are we
Whereas,
gonna?
yeah.
But like, if the one alarm sounds, it sounds like they'll like put everyone else in lockdown. If I'm understanding this. Yeah.
Which is why I mentioned like we'd probably have to check to see what the situation looks like for the other people too. Unless we
Yes.
want to try to break all of them out at the same time and like each one of us be on a separate floor.
That would still leave one person who would probably
Yeah,
be
that's
stuck.
an out.
But
Life
it's
out.
better than nothing. Yeah, let's check out. Let's check out the other floors real quick. Let's divide and conquer the next 5 floors.
We could always see if Rookie would be willing to help us. He seems a little confused about the whole situation, so maybe if we kind of say like, this is one of those like you rush the entertainment out at the end of the night behind the stage door and like try not to let anyone see them, and he might think it's part of his job that no one ever told him he has to do.
Is this going to be a literal alarm, do you think?
Can I make sure I understand the rule for madness?
So I'm gonna
For
start
madness
looking for
talents?
one.
Yeah.
So for your madness talents, it basically, what madness talents do is they give you special abilities, and depending on whether you want it to be a minor ability or major, this goes for exhaustion as well. It gives you basically automatic successes towards a goal, and usually with the intent of whatever your talent is. So, for instance, if you get at least one success on a madness die, you get to either, if you want it to be a minor use, you get just 3 added successes to the pot. If you want it to be a major use, you get however many dice you chose to use, plus 1.
Okay. So I have the ability to stop time. I don't know for how long. I don't know if it'll last for all of the floors at the same time. If it does, it'll make getting people out at the same time, all individually, a lot easier. If it works.
I can find the best escape route to use for everyone if it works well. If I
So we
don't
could have
know, would have to do it per floor. I do that at mine. But I can at least give like a surefire way to get someone out of the building, like secret doors or whatever.
Would you like to make that check on this floor?
I would love to. Whatever way is the easiest or best to get Naomi out.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make your roll. You can add an extra exhaustion if you wish to, and between 1 and 6 madness dice plus your discipline. This is going to be a 5 for pain.
Okay, let's go. Let's go. It's a lot of dice in my hand, man. I don't like it. Okay. Don't know that it's great. I've got 5 S's and I've got 2 6s, both in discipline.
Nice. Did you get those in your in your exhaustion talent?
Yes.
Okay, so
all of my exhaustion.
you've got a ton of successes that I simply cannot beat. So you succeed. You have you said you have 2 6s in discipline.
Yes.
That beats me. So discipline writes out. You're able to focus in, watch watch for what would happen. You have 2 ideas as far as ways to get out. The first way is builds on what Ada said about time stop. If people are on floors, there is basically a stage door on every floor that you could get out on, and with another basically a staff staircase that you could go down like basically the stage door route. There's a secondary option as well if you would not want to do time stop. If you trigger one alarm and are able to hide Naomi in time, you notice that there are, this is very much like a people zoo. There would be a place where they would have everyone stay. You could break into that place and then get everybody out that way as well. It just depends what route you would like to go, and it gives you a secondary option in case things go wrong.
I'll relay that much back. With what I was able to do, was I able to figure out if we did the stage door method, are there any secondary doors or anything? Like if it's a staff only situation, is there a key that I need or anything like that? Be able to get through those back hallways.
With how it would work, you would need some sort of not necessarily like a key card, but you would have to figure out a way to get through some of the doors that might need some creative ways out. This is a very magical place, so there might be ways of stopping people.
I'll relay all of that.
But if it would come up, you would know a way around it, is what we'll say. So basically, if you want to like mark down that you basically you get a get out of jail free card basically to get out of here.
We do that. We convince Rookie to take someone. Each of us take the rest. We all hit the stage door as soon as time freezes. Run like a bat out of hell.
I think that's great. I mean, it revolves around a lot of us. Everyone just has to get it right the first time.
Well,
no pressure.
Can I offer some possible option here?
Absolutely.
Just had a couple of thoughts. I don't know how successful this is going to be because I don't like to do this on purpose, but there's the thing I can do. But if this building has an alarm system, I might be able to make it malfunction. Also, I just saw where the crack in this barrier is when you showed it to me, so I might be able to break that. Maybe. Things break around me if I can think of a way that they might break. The thing is, also, something you might want to consider is that if you're stopping time, we might be able to grab a few more masks and get. Actually, are the performers masked? Is Naomi masked?
Naomi is not masked.
Yeah, all right. So it's like we might be able to grab a few more masks and get them onto the people as we get them out to sort of help with that a little bit, maybe.
Oh, we have a backup plan for the backup plan.
All right, so who's it sounds like you want to get Rookie to help go to separate floors, try to time stop, and each person get someone out.
And if we go down to Rookie, then we can also grab the box of masks that is just chilling down there too. Make sure everyone has a spare.
Okay. you're able to easily head down to Rookie, making your way through. They are sitting outside. It looks almost like they're dozing off and then straighten up immediately as you get there. Well, welcome to the Clock Tower Club.
We already heard the spiel.
Okay.
So listen, you've been asleep for a little while, I have to say. I'm so sorry to have to be the one to tell you this, but it's gotten to the point in the night where we have to make sure that all of the entertainment is able to get back to their sleeping quarters for the night. And there's clearly not enough of us to help everybody. There's so many floors. So we need...
They're VIPs. You know, they need a handler to walk them out and make sure nothing bad happens.
Exactly. So, you've done this before, right? I know you're new to the job, but like, yeah, okay, perfect. So,
I need you both to roll for me.
okay.
While they're doing this, can I be digging through the box behind him, getting those extra masks out so he doesn't realize we're taking him?
Absolutely, you can.
Cool.
At this point, I'm gonna use more madness die. I think I'm gonna do like 3.
What I did.
Yeah, I'm doing 2.
Okay. That's still only 3 successes.
That is 3 successes for me, and my highest one is a 6 in madness.
My highest one is a 6 in exhaustion.
All right. You both succeed. You beat my dice. So Ada will take another exhaustion.
Okay.
And for Sid, in this situation, you are pushed to a point where you feel this is a very uncomfortable situation, and I need you to mark off one of your boxes, your madness boxes. Are you going to do fight or flight? I think you're muted.
I'm gonna do flight.
Okay. Yeah, there is a urgent feeling to get out. To just this place is in a way it is a nice escape, but also it is frightening and terrifying, and there's so much that you don't know that you feel on the back foot. And yeah, how do you play into this as those kind of ideas cross your mind?
So when we first arrived, Sid looked so excited. He was ready to call this place home, and even as he started to see the horrors, he was not entirely dissuaded. Honestly, he's not entirely sure how he's felt about being a part of this escape plan. And I think you are all starting to see him getting more and more nervous, like sweat starting to appear on his forehead, feet, bouncing at any point when he is still glancing towards the exits constantly. Because now he's at a point where instead of trying to find every way he can to stay, he's trying to find the quickest exit out to leave, but he's not ready to cut and run yet. Not this time.
You were able to escape once, but it came at a pretty big cost.
It sure did, and I'm trying not to leave anyone behind this time.
There is a sincerity in both of your voices, and you hear this like motor going, and Rookie's like, okay, all right, let's do this. And Rookie will like basically charge in ahead to go and do the best job that they can. So as far as the different floors, there is Jessica that Ada spoke to in that moment in the bar. There is Cecilia, Jared, Amelia, David, and then of course Naomi. As far as the floors, do you just kind of filter out and go to whichever one you need? Is there anything in particular that you would like to do before setting up?
I would like to save Jessica, please. I heard her scream through a radio, and I would like to finally be able to say I rescued her.
Absolutely.
That's my request. If everyone's okay with that.
I think Sid would talk to Phil and say, look, we know the situation with Naomi. We know that there's that barrier around her. There might be the same barrier around everyone else. I know you said you could break it, but I can get through things that I shouldn't be able to. So if you want to be on the alarms, I'm happy to go in and get her out.
Yeah, no, that'd be fine, because it's a little more esoteric a thing than I usually do with the barriers. So yeah, I'll see if I can find the alarm system.
So Sid will be on Naomi.
Jesse Lemon, what would you like to do as far as this escape attempt? How are you going to help in this?
It's a great question. Thinking about my madness ability, it's fly on the wall, so I can turn into a fly on the wall. Does that sound helpful to anything?
Getting to
Otherwise-
the person, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can absolutely get to the person that way. If you want to be a lookout kind of person, you can do that as well. It's
Okay.
up. There are many options of whatever you would like.
Should I... Thinking about this now... No, that doesn't work, because you already got... Yeah, I'll be lookout then.
And then Ash is on the escape, like getting through the doors. And all right, we have a game plan. So first things that need to happen is probably malfunctioning the alarm before the time. Or do you want to do time stop first or alarm malfunction first? Up to you. Or whatever order you would like to do first. This is your game plan.
Let's do alarm malfunction first.
Yeah, we'll see if we can do that. You'll know. You'll probably know immediately if I fail. It'll probably be a good time for us to start the time stop if that happens. So yeah, I'm just gonna see if I can just figure out one thing about the alarm system, then I can start thinking about how it might break. So all I need to know is what kind of alarm system it is. So I'm going to start just looking around, see if I see anything, just to figure anything out about how this thing works.
Absolutely. Let's make a roll.
Okay. This is the figuring out roll?
Yep, this is a figuring it out roll.
Okay, so this is not the stopping the alarm. Okay. So let's see, I have one exhaustion. I will go ahead and pick up a second exhaustion.
Okay.
For this, and I'm gonna go ahead and wait. How many pain dice are you rolling?
I have 5 pain dice for this.
I'm gonna go ahead and pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna do 4 madness for this. We'll see how this goes. Okay. Well, Why do these dice like to roll high? This is the worst possible time. So I have, you know what I should have called, but it's too late. Never mind. I doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So I have 2 successes. I have a 6 in madness.
Mhm. I also have a 6. You succeed. I do not have that many successes. What is your next highest?
My next highest is a 5,
I also have a 5.
and next highest is a 4.
I also have a 4.
Next highest is a 3.
That is higher than my next one, so.
I guess. Delightful that madness is dominating.
We technically tied, but I always do winner breaks, the player breaks
Okay.
ties for this. But yes, you are able to see, this is a pressure alarm, where basically, when they get off of the stage, when they step off of it, that is how the alarm goes off. The containment is its own thing. You could also, if you tried to like just physically break down the wall of it, you could also have issues there with an alarm trigger, but it would be slightly different. The one you're most worried about, which is the silent alarm,
Mhm.
which if you disable that, you disable basically everything. So
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, so it's a pressure sensor. Okay. All right. Good. Good. Yeah. The problem with pressure sensors, especially if you're putting an older one into more recent construction, is that they can just utterly miss completely. The sensor, if you haven't cleaned the sensors recently, they just don't go off. Is madness dominating? Or am I?
yes, yes, madness is dominating. So you need to check off a box.
I have 1 fight. I'm gonna check it off because
Sounds
this
good.
seems the time for it.
You feel very brave in this moment.
I'm just like, all right, I got this. Okay. Do you want me to just? I'm gonna sort of kind of be coming back, and I'm trying to be surreptitious, but it's a little harder now as I come back to where any of the others are, where as we're getting in place. I guess to Ada, just so that because he's got the next thing chaining. I'm like, okay, we can get these sons of bitches. I figured out how this works. I'm gonna try to break it right now. Okay, are you ready? If you're ready, just let me know. Are we in place? Just let me know as soon as you're ready, and I'm gonna break this thing.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I think. And then should I also be trying to roll now too, or is that something
Yeah,
I should?
I'm gonna have both you guys roll at the same time. I've got enough dice to be able to do 2 pools.
Oh. How many madness die did you roll, Jim?
Well, I haven't rolled any for this yet. The last time I
Oh.
rolled 4, but for this one I need. Yeah. Let me know how many I need to roll for this.
So this is a
add more.
pain of 6 for this.
Yeah, okay. This is high stakes. I hate to say it, but I think I'm gonna go all in for madness dice. I don't want to mess this up. So here goes. Oh my god. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes. But my highest one, I have 2 6s for exhaustion.
That beats me in both. The exhaustion will dominate, and you succeed. Let me roll for Phil. Okay.
Shall I roll?
Yes.
Shall I tell you
go
what
for
my
it.
pool is for this? This is also
Yeah.
against 6 pain. All right. So I'm gonna add another exhaustion so that I've got 3 exhaustion for
Okay.
this, and I'm gonna, if I may, I'm just gonna roll the maximum 6 madness for this one.
You absolutely can.
All right, here we go. All right. All right. Okay. Let me see what I got here. Okay, so actually got the I got 5 successes. I have I I have a 6 in exhaustion.
I also have a 6.
My next down is a 4.
So pain is going to win on this.
Right.
But you succeed in breaking the alarm. But how do you break the alarm? And like, what is your thought process? How does it work?
So my thought process is just basically is that I bet this alarm is dusty and the sensors are malfunctioning and they're old and they're corroding and they're starting to fall apart. So they're not even gonna trip. They're not gonna sense shit. It's kind of what I'm thinking.
You focus in, and in this moment, it takes almost like more focus than you're used to. And it's almost as if you physically feel that moment of breaking that alarm. Your body just is sore and tired and spent, but you succeed. Ada, you stop time and everything freezes. You don't know how much you're going to be able to hold it, but you feel like you're going to hold it for long enough to get people out of the containment. And we need someone to help get people out of containment, so I think this falls on Sid.
I'm ready. I'm also going all in with the madness die because why not? Let's go.
This is also going to be 6 pain.
I think Phil's excitement of like, I'm ready, are you ready, are you ready, are we ready? Just all in on madness.
My fight response went off.
That is 6 successes.
Yeah, that beats me. What is your highest in?
I have a highest in madness and a highest in exhaustion. Both were 6s.
Okay, so do you have the most high numbers in madness or exhaustion?
Equal, 1 in each.
Okay. Okay, so pain is going to override this because I have 2 6s. But this is something very new to you, and you're able to do in a magnificent feat. How you're going to be able to save basically everybody in this instance. You're kind of able to spread out your abilities to everyone else. How does this work?
What I think we see is Sid starts and stays close to Naomi. That crack that he already saw there, he focuses in on that. And as he starts to make that crack widen, he starts to feel out to all of the other barriers that are keeping people contained on the other floors. And it is a tremendous amount of effort that he is expending. He was not imagining trying to break out this many people at once. He was thinking of breaking through one barrier that was already starting to fall apart. And so there is a moment of shock when he realizes he can do this. that he can extend himself this far, but he's not sure how long that'll last.
You overexert yourself in this moment. You feel as though it's like your body's more sluggish, but almost as though in this point in time, until you're able to leave the Mad City, it's almost like you feel like you're falling through things. As far as our escape route, I need you to make me a roll. There's going to be a minor complication as you guys are escaping. And actually, instead, I'm going to have our lookout person go, because this is around the time you've
Okay.
been able to gather up people. But Ada, the time is fading. You are holding fast, but you're doing as well as you can. And you see that the stronger nightmares are able to shake this control more than the softer ones. And this is where Jesse Lemon is going to come in.
Well, I'm going to take another exhaustion. And then, screw it, yeah, I'm going to go all in on the madness dice too, which gives me a total of 12 dice I'm rolling.
Nice. The bag man, the hat man, the crooked man, he has 6 pain dice. So you're going up against him.
Excellent. So that is 5 successes with 3 sixes. 2 of them are in discipline. 1 of them is in madness.
All right. Well, the discipline is your highest pool, and you beat my 2 sixes. So my next highest is a 4. So discipline writes out. How are you able to help the others evade the
I
hat man, the
think,
crooked man?
like, all I had written for Fly on the Wall is turned into a Fly on the Wall. So I think it'd be interesting if, in this moment, I am multiple flies on multiple walls. So there's, like, one of me on each floor, so I'm able to, like, spot these things. Yeah, like, previously I'm like, hey, if you feel something tickling, don't swat, it's me. And so, like, I get to, like, everyone's ears and, like, let them know, like, hey, I feel like all the flies are connected to, like, hive mind. Like, hey, this is what's going on. Buzz, buzz. And
Absolutely.
I
You are
have to
able.
say buzz, buzz each time. It
Hell
is
yeah.
part of the ability. Yeah.
Absolutely. There are rules for the Mad City, and they often come with that. So you are able to one, get everyone to know where the bag man, the hat man, the crooked man is at all times. And 2, using the fly on the wall ability, you're able to control the bugs of the Mad City to distract and make it so you guys are more obfuscated from him. We need our escape route. There is a hitch as the time goes off. The alarm doesn't go off, but there is murmurs as the entertainment is gone. And you're able to get us out of the clock tower, but you need to find a way back to the sleeping city.
Well, all of these dice do.
This
Many.
is going to be a 6 as the crooked man is chasing you through the streets of the Mad City as the clock is spinning incredibly fast as time is catching up, but time works differently here. While it's only been almost an hour, the clock is going faster and faster, and soon it will be the 13th hour and you will not be able to escape.
I have 7 successes.
That is very good because I had 5. As the clock is ticking, where do you find the escape into the sleeping city?
I think as we all run out of the building, I notice that the trunk of the car that Phil crashed into the tree, the like lock mechanism of it is glowing, and so I go and just pound it as hard as I can so the trunk pops open. When you dive through the trunk, it'll take us back.
Nice.
You all are running with the different friends from the Awakened server as fast as you can towards the trunk. The Crooked Man is quickly going behind you. You leap and jump through the trunk and land like rolling out outside of a diner. The car unfortunately is lost in this predicament. And Jesse, as you're one of the last people getting out, transforming back into the person form from that fly form.
It's just a swarm of flies in a human-shaped body, and I'm sorry, I hope that wasn't a line or a veil for
No!
anyone. That just popped out of my head.
You're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I don't think that's on the list, but you're able to put yourself together, and just as the hat man is throwing his hat at you to try and attack, you get through, the door shuts, the 13th hour strikes, and you hear the gong of the clock tower as you're outside of a diner in the sleeping city, and you all survived. That is all we have time for tonight, but I'll leave you with this. There is a scene after you guys are safely in the diner. Our camera pans back to the clock tower, to the very top where the clock face sits. In this office, very cushy, full of velvet, a woman is sitting in a chair. She wears a 1940s style turban, dressed almost like a jazz singer with a long cigarette holder on a phone, old style phone, and just says, "Yes, they proved themselves rather nicely. I think they might be our way into District 13. We'll see what comes next." And the camera goes black. Thank you guys so much for playing this evening. This has been an absolute blast. You guys are amazing players, and I want to go around again to say where you guys are, what you guys are doing, all the awesome things. We're gonna start with JD.
I was not prepared for that this time. That's fine. I'm going to try to go quickly. Hi, I am JD. I can be found on the internet at JD, not Jason Dean. If you want to find me in the next few days, Saturday I will be with Live from the Apocalypse, where I'm an organizer, storyteller, and player, running part 1 of our finale of A Season of Secrets and Shadows, our Regency-flavored Monster Hearts game, which is now finally coming to a conclusion 3 seasons later. You can then find me later on Entropy Emporium, where I will be playing in Blooming in the Rot and Invisible Sun campaign, and then I will be back with Live from the Apocalypse for our recording of Academy H, our Masks Actual Play podcast, on Sunday. And I'll leave that there if you want to know where I am on any given night, because I am probably somewhere. Social media is the best way to find me.
We have Mika up next.
Hi, I'm Mika. I do things. I'm the co-creator of the Crit Award nominated channel Roll D5. You can find me over there. or consistently, there are 3 places you can also find me. Starting tomorrow over on Entropy Emporium for a weekly 5e game called Weird Wilds War. Mondays over on Talking XP with Ravenloft Misfits, or on Wanderer's Haven for the Horde of the Dragon Queen. And you can also fairly often find me on here too.
Awesome. Next up we have Lonnie.
All right. Hi, I am Lonnie, or Looney Shaz. You can't really find me on social media because I quit Twitter around the time when everyone was like, if this is the last day of Twitter, this will be my last tweet. And I was like, this is my last day of Twitter. Goodbye. So I kind of just exist in the Discords when I remember that Discords exist and I need to respond to messages. If you really want, you can probably find me maybe in the Discords, but also tomorrow you will be able to find me and Jim back here again for part 2 of our of the monster of the week. I shouldn't say our because Jim is running it. It's his thing, but I'm very excited to be a part of it. It is a really great cast. We're basically hunting down an electrical golem, which is exciting. So in Gothic century, like think there's barely electricity, but a golem still managed to find that little bit of electricity to be able to just terrorize people. It's great. And then after that, July gets a little quiet for a while, but excited to be here, and this was a great game to play. So thanks for having me.
Next up is Jim.
This was great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm pleased to finally get a chance to play Don't Rest Your Head for the first time ever, as I've been running it for a very, very long time. It's so very cool. I at last got to experience the Mad City myself, as more than just more than just the Nightmare Keeper. So I very much appreciate that. So thank you so much. I'm Jim Ryan. I am a writer, streamer, and podcaster. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my various things. Next time you can find me is tomorrow night here. As previously mentioned, I'll be running the second part of Lights Out, our Gothic Century Monster of the Week game. Just a 2-part scenario in New York, 1886. And yes, there is indeed a lightning elemental type being running around, and they've just summoned someone very dangerous to try to find out more about it. So we're going to very excited to see how that goes tomorrow night. On Sunday afternoons over on my channel, which is Otherdoc, OTHERDOC, I run a different Powered by the Apocalypse game. It's Alas for the Angry Void, which is a hack I put together of Alas for the Awful Sea. I reskinned it to be a sad space game, basically a gothic sci-fi thing, and so we are coming apace on that one, and then that's most of it. Then then I can rest, perhaps. Who knows? But I do have signups. I'm just opening tonight for another game for anyone who also enjoys space opera that I'm going to be hosting on my channel, run by my friend Hollow, on Tuesday nights. If you want to check that out, that sign-up form out, go to jimyesthatjim.com and click on Game Sign Up. Thank you all so much. This was an absolute delight, and I fear that Phil will one day end up working for the taxmen because he is an insurance adjuster, and that is where all such people end up going if they never sleep. Thank you so much.
And we have Mallory.
Hi, all. So if you ever want to see me anywhere else, all of my social medias are at MoxieBlue, MoXXIEBLUE. I am the owner and creative director over at Rediscovery RPG. It's a brand new production company and channel that focuses on gaming content, whether it's how it's made, actual plays, all of that. every Wednesday, which we're actually off for the next 2 weeks because cast members are traveling, but they'll only be back for 2 more episodes of You're Invited. It's our very first actual play, and it's Call of Cthulhu, and it asks if a very beautiful femme with ties to a cult ran a game of Saw for her birthday, what would happen? So you can come watch that if you want. Every other week, you can also find me over at Live from the Apocalypse. I am a part of the cast over at Nephilim Tenebris. I'm having the time of my life. It's like awesome table, awesome cast. I'm super lucky. I also run a stream called Play and Process over on Rediscovery, which is how I produce games and things like that. And we're gearing up for our very first charity event that'll start at the end of August. It's called Crits for a Cause, and if you'd like to be a part of it, there's an interest form over on Twitter, over on the Rediscovery RPG Twitter page where you can go fill it out, and it just lets me know you'd like to be a part of it in some way, and then I'll reach out to you and be like, hi, let's do games together. I think that's mostly it. I design games and write games, and you might see my face around here at some point again fairly soon. It only took like 4 scheduling tries to get me to be able to do this, so it's fine. I'll be around. Don't worry about it.
Awesome. And I'm Mary. You can find me online at the Hell site at Nerd on Wheels 15 or everywhere else at the Nerd on Wheels. Coming up for me every other Monday, you can find me on back here for Lancer Hell's Gate, a Lancer campaign. I play a murder marshmallow, aka Zoe. It's a fun time filled with trauma and mech fighting mechs and all kinds of crazy stuff. Go check that out. Every other Wednesday, you can find me on Chanting Sorcery Productions for Fandelver and Below. Halia's Harriers. It's always time to bash the fash over on there as the Zentarum takes down a religious oligarch. So go check that out. And then this Tuesday on July 30th, or not this Tuesday, gosh, time is a soup. On July 30th, you can find me for the second part of The Walking Dead 2-shot, ran by Sam Scribbles. So great. And Mika's in there too as Elder Lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got people bitten by walkers, and it's a great time. But stick around because we are going to be raiding Tabletop Titties. They are running Vampire the Masquerade. It is sure to be a great time. But until then, we'll talk to you all later. May your dice always roll hot. Take your meds. Have a good night, guys.